It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff's here, Stacey's here, Ant's here. We've got lots of things to talk about, including Google going down twice, Facebook's big ad in all the major newspapers. They're mad at Apple. I'm mad at Jeff. Jeff's mad at me, and we'll talk about the Blob Opera. How do you like our new theme? It's all coming up next on Twig. This Week in Google comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. Securing every access point in your company does not have to be a challenge. LastPass unifies access and authentication to make securing your employees simple and secure, even when they're working remotely. Check out lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 590, recorded Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. The Enlarged Bicep of Reason. This episode of This Week in Google is brought to you by Technology Powers X. Learn how technology and IT departments are reshaping their businesses through an original podcast from Dell Technologies. Search for Technology Powers X anywhere you listen to podcasts and download each episode today. And by Bandwidth. Easily add voice calling, text messaging, and emergency calling to your platform, backed by the power of a fully owned and operated Tier 1 carrier network. Start a free trial at bandwidth.com/twig. And by Command Line Heroes, a podcast that tells the epic true tales of developers, programmers, hackers, geeks, and open source rebels who are revolutionizing the technology landscape. Search for Command Line Heroes anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's time for Twig, This Week in Google, the show where we cover the latest from whatever the hell we want to talk about. Stacey Higginbotham's back. We missed you, Stacey. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it.
I thought I might have COVID, but I did not. So
Really? Were you that ill?
No.
Whoa.
No, I just had random, intermittent fevers.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Just felt tired. I had an ear infection, so very random.
You know, when you get sick after you've quarantined like crazy and you're wearing masks, you think, how could that possibly happen? And flu, by the way, flu season is way down because of this.
Yeah. Mine, I think it's because I'm showering or doing too much and my...
Trying to stay too clean.
Ear.
No, I'm exiting, and then I put my in, and I got an ear infection. That's the bottom line.
Well, here's the good news. FDA today approved the first over-the-counter home test for COVID-19.
At last.
At last. It's an antigen test, which means you can do it in 10 minutes. Just a little nose swab. The only negative is you'll be able to get it at pharmacies, you get it online. There's two negatives. One, it's $30. Because it'd be great if we're a little more affordable. I'd put a stack of them out front at the studio, and before you come in, you test, and you have to wait 10 minutes. And if you're okay, you come in. That's one negative is the price. The other negative is they say they can only make about 100,000 a month, so it's not exactly going to be. They actually 100,000 a day. Australian manufacturer says it's going to have 3 million tests next month, but they will be ramping up, which means maybe price and availability will become better. So this is good news. This is the rapid test that Dr. Minna at Harvard has been begging for some time.
Now, I read about it, and I was a little confused because it said if we have a negative on that test,
you can trust it.
No, I didn't think you could trust it. Oh, if you're sick and you still have a negative, then you can't trust it. But if you're healthy and you have a negative, you're probably fine.
It delivers a small percentage of false positive and false negative results.
Okay.
People who get a negative result but have symptoms should follow up with a health professional, because maybe you do have it after all. But it's about 95% effective. The point being, it's effective enough to reduce the R naught. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? But it has to be available and fast. So, thank you, Stacey. I'm glad you're feeling better. Also
yes.
with us.
Oh, sorry, that was so much.
Yeah, we digressed.
Jesus, you got a long intro. Boy, oh boy.
Oh, wait
Says
till
the guy
you're
who
like.
has a whole freaking paragraph. That's the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Amen. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
How are you?
Well, I'm sad and I'm disappointed. I'm a little bit angry right now.
Because you didn't get the Donald Trump commemorative coin that I got? Is that why you're sad? You're just jealous.
That's another reason to be sad. When you bought two, I thought you said one of them was going to be mine, and it's not. But that's not.
I decided
that's not
I needed this.
That's not, yeah. Well,
it's a self-defense measure. I'm going to carry it in my pocket. If I'm attacked by a Proud Boy, I just whip it out and say, "Challenge coin, you owe me a beer." Clever, eh?
yeah.
Why are you sad, Jeff?
I put one of my favorite stories ever in at the very top of the rundown. Now it's at the very bottom of the rundown.
Oh, I moved it.
You did. I figured you did.
I moved it because it isn't a top of the show story.
Oh, I thought it was. Have you played with it?
Yeah. In fact, the other reason I moved it is because it was a pick of the week yesterday on MacBreak Weekly.
Oh, all right. All right.
But I will, you know, I'm going to make it the first story of the day.
Get to it. No, we'll get to it.
Aunt Pruitt is also here. Hello, Aunt. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Uh-oh. Aunt is muted.
Unmute, my friend.
We want to hear Aunt.
I thought it was awfully quiet over there. All right. I know what Aunt's going to say.
Stacey, have you seen this?
No.
This,
What is
my
it?
friends, is the Blob Opera.
Why are their tongues like that?
Because they're blobs. Blobs don't have tongues.
They're blobs. So you can make your own, which is what Leo was doing a minute ago, which is even more fun.
Oh, that is fun. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
But it's not doing. Take it off Christmas, Leo.
Okay.
Do your own. Now move.
Still no audio from me?
Yeah, now we hear you.
We
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Refresh that page.
Aren't you grateful for this way to vamp until we got this
Yeah.
audio? Huh?
It turns out this is our
Huh?
top story, the Blob Opera.
Yeah.
This is a Google experiment from artsandculture.google.com. So, yes, it has to do with Google. The Blob.
And you can get them to do it all at once. I forget how to do that.
You turn them all on, or I can't. I did it at first.
Then if you move up, it changes.
Up changes pitch. Sideways
and
changes the
right.
vowel.
And then they harmonize.
I will say this is better than a musical.
Ready?
Now, this is supposedly is an AI thing. I have no idea what relationship this has to AI.
We do have
Our
a new
listeners
Twig
don't
theme
realize
now.
is this what he did.
Why are their eyes swirling?
Because
does
they're
that
blobs.
indicate?
I'm doing that. Okay, that is not our new Twig theme, nor is the theme we played last week our new Twig theme.
Because
People
nobody
hated
likes
that.
it.
Oh, man, did they hate it. I thought you guys hated
I wasn't even
The
here.
pamphlets were great.
I thought you guys hated the little wimpy flute theme.
Well, this is your way to make us love it.
And, well, I guess so. As it turned out, I actually did a poll on the Twig community, and I said, I will consider myself bound by this poll. So whatever you, and I got a lot
Just
of
like
hate,
the
man.
electoral college of
Just
twig
like the
themes.
electoral college, exactly, of themes. Let me log in real quickly. I have to do my two-factor.
That's so funny.
And I'll show. We'll get the real-time vote results, and then
People
I
hate change.
yeah
So
no, I
how
knew
much-
that. I said that even before I did it. I said, Lisa.
I didn't remember hearing it. I fell asleep in the first 5 seconds of the damn thing. Jesus.
The drums? You thought the drums were boring?
I didn't get that far. I was asleep.
All it was drums. All right. Well, it was the old triangulation theme, and I thought, well, we're not using that anymore, so we'll recycle it. What could be the harm in that? Well, I found out. People did not like it.
We should play both. We should play both for the audience first before you give us the results.
Oh, you want to hear them both? Oh, that's complicated.
We should play them for the audience so they know the difference.
I don't even know how to do that.
Can you find an old triangulation?
I guess I can just play it off of a YouTube clip. Yeah, you're right. I'll just play it off the website. All right. So before, well, this might take a little editing. Slash
or some
twig.
old commercials are in there.
Yeah. Okay. So here, without further ado, let me play. This is 2 weeks ago. It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Salesforce buys Slack for a lot of money. The top TikTok videos of the year. And why? So you like that, right? It's a little fluty.
Well, suddenly I do, given the choice, yeah.
This is what I tried last week. It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacey has the week off. Matthew Ingram's in from the Columbia Journalism Review, joining Jeff Jarvis and, of course, Aunt Pruitt. I have in my hands 100. What, you don't like that? You're making you.
I like that fine. I thought that was.
Me too.
Fine.
Me too. So.
But Stacey, you're a wife. You know, fine is a very bad word.
It's fine.
No, I think it's fine.
Fine.
It's fine.
Fine is not a bad word. Fine implies that this is okay. We can handle it.
So I decided.
Not good enough for you.
After getting many emails.
People actually had an opinion about this. That's what's amazing.
The really funny thing is that then there were a bunch of competing polls. So my poll got 13 votes. Let's show the results. Bring back the flutes, 54%. Keep the drums, 31%. What theme, 15%. And then somebody else had a much more elaborate poll. Who's a tab? I love it. Make it the theme of all the shows. I like it. Please don't change it. I don't care. I don't like it. Please change it soon. He got 20 votes.
And the results?
Well, but I'm curious. This is from May. So this is the one that says don't change it from May. I get it.
Oh,
so,
I see. Okay.
So this is the flutes. So really the people have it. The people have it.
Brought this up back.
We're
going
to do the drums.
Of Facebook by the Federal Trade Commission, 46 state attorneys general in Guam and Washington, D.C.
It's not a theme. It's twiddling your thumbs on a table.
Okay. The people have spoken. The fluty flutes are back.
No, I want the blobs now. I want the blobs.
I could make a theme with the blobs. I've often thought I should just fire up
technology.
Yeah, exactly. Fire up GarageBand and do the whole thing. Facebook.
We were off to an unnewsy start.
Well, no, we're getting back to it. Facebook bought full-page ads today in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post. We're standing up to Apple for small businesses everywhere. Come on, really? For small businesses? You're doing this for small businesses? Apple, as you may know, has changed how iOS works. They've added something, they compared nutrition labels for food privacy labels. And furthermore, they've surfaced a switch. This is the real thing that gives, right when you install an app and first run it, gives you the opportunity to turn off the ID for Apple advertisers. This was always available to you in iOS, but it was buried deep within the settings. Facebook says, many in the small business community have shared concerns about Apple's forced software update, which will limit businesses' ability to run personalized ads and reach their consumers effectively. Okay, you think? Speak up. They made a page. Speak up for small business. Small businesses deserve to be heard. Apple's latest update threatens personalized ads. I thought they were just protecting privacy, but no, they're actually putting people out of business.
Meh.
Meh. Where do you stand?
Say about that?
I think it's a good thing. I think these things should be exposed. Facebook should be making its case to end users saying, please let us spy on you and let them make the decision as opposed to putting ads trying to get Apple to change its defaults. Jeff, you want to defend personalized ads?
Do I have to again?
We finally wore him out,
let me get my
Stacey.
popcorn
We finally
first.
wore him down.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There's very little evidence that personalized ads actually work. So I think I'm going to call foul on this, oh, we're just trying to survive, it's going to put us out of business. That's much ado about nothing. Advertisers have always wanted more information. They beg us for more information. But ultimately, they survive just fine. Otherwise, the Super Bowl wouldn't be able to sell multi-million-dollar 30-second ads that all they know is a lot of people
Well,
are
it depends
watching.
on what the product is, and depends on whether you have that much money. It's also a matter of efficiency and efficacy, and it varies greatly. So no, targeting in many cases does work. Depends on the case.
Does it
If
really,
If you're
though?
advertising
That's what I was gonna ask
Budweiser,
you.
you don't need to target.
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What evidence do you have that proves that the personalization does not work? And if it's not working, why isn't it working? Is it because of
Thank you, Ant.
is happening behind the scenes? From
Well, first of all, I don't think we have to prove that it does not work. I think you have to prove that it does work because you're
Okay.
invading my privacy in order to
Oh, it's
do it.
not your
So
privacy.
Yes,
It's
you
not
are.
Your privacy.
it's
No,
not?
It's not.
You don't think
No.
Facebook invades my privacy?
No.
Well, I mean, I choose not to use it. But even if you don't use it, Facebook still collects as much information about you as you can in these so-called shadow dossiers. So
Right.
I would say that it's really incumbent on Facebook to prove that it works,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
in order to, but I think we can say that the problem with personalized ads probably isn't the personalization. If it worked really well, maybe it would work. The problem is that most of these systems, just look at the TV shows Netflix recommends for you, or the purchases Amazon recommends for you. These recommendation engines are notoriously awful. I
think
will
I
point.
fall into the 1% though regarding those services. I'm not a Facebook user, but I use Instagram, a Facebook property,
Which is highly customized, right?
and the ads that are presented to me are really good. I have to admit that they present things to me that would make me stop scrolling and say, "Hey, what exactly is this?" Even though some of the ads that come through are pretty bad products, but they are photography related. They are content creation related. You know, they figured it out. And same goes for Netflix. The recommendations that I get in its newsletter once a month, as well as what shows up on the screen when I turn on the television, they're pretty spot on.
Well, then I guess the second question is, do advertisers really need that? Now, Jeff makes a case that it's more efficient.
Yeah, because simply put, especially on Facebook, if I have to go to every woman to sell this one product versus women who blank and blank and blank, I can go to fewer people. And it's not about the targeting working in terms of hypnotizing you. It's the targeting working and not wasting your money to go to people who have absolutely zero interest. And what that does is give you greater relevance for the ads that are there. That, to me, is a service. Now, the relevant ad might also be obnoxious and horrible. That's a different issue. But just to not give me ads that I couldn't possibly give it to them. Don't advertise diapers to me. It wastes my eye space. No,
Right.
Stop. I don't need them anymore. Well, I will soon, but that's another story.
Oh my God, that sounds so entitled. Oh, I don't want to see this because it's not possibly something that's useful for me. I mean, you're giving up your privacy. You're giving up all of this data
No,
so
I'm
you won't
not.
be inconvenienced by diaper ads? Is that what, I mean, is,
I'm not giving up privacy to reveal that I'm a grown man. And listen, in the day, so fine, I would have bought Esquire and it wouldn't have had diaper ads. You know, that's how it worked there. You targeted
Yeah,
my
or you buy
environment rather
Twit
than my
and
person.
you get ads targeted at tech enthusiasts.
Techniques.
Yeah, I don't think that's a
Actually,
bad model.
well, so here's an interesting thing, though. Some of these, and this doesn't really bother me, but it is kind of funny. Some of these, and this is where they're not very accurate, they use my love of tech, for example, for the longest time. They've used my searches and information to assume I'm a man. So I get lots
Yes,
of irrelevant
right.
ads because their personalization isn't great. This, again, doesn't bother me, but it does kind of tie into this. Does it really work?
Yeah, that's my initial contention is that the recommendation engines they're using don't work very well. They make all sorts of dumb assumptions, and we all know that because we've seen the recommendations Amazon produces and stuff like that. If it really worked, do you think Amazon would recommend products that you really wanted? Now, I have to grant you, Ant, Instagram does a fine job. In fact,
you know, your wallet knows.
I know. So maybe we should stipulate that done properly,
that's a different question.
targeted
yes.
ads might work. Yeah.
You know,
you
another
take
thing,
away
now
the
that I think about it a little more, regarding the recommendation engine for Instagram versus, say, a Netflix, I know I feed Netflix with that thumbs up thing pretty regularly. I don't do that so much on Instagram, but I'm assuming
Instagram does a
paying
better
attention
job
to what I scroll and stop on.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I deleted my Instagram account for a long time, created a new one. Within literally a few weeks of using this new account, it immediately started suggesting stuff to me that I could barely resist buying. so it clearly, it's possible that it works. Maybe Facebook's got it. I do reject entirely Facebook's premise that Apple should not be telling people that they can disable this because it's going to hurt our business. That is, I call BS on. Apple should absolutely be telling people. And do you not agree, Jeff, people should have the right to say, don't track me?
Yeah, but I also think that that's like saying you have the right to see the New York Times without ads. Well, no, the New York Times has the right to say this is my business, and then no.
But that's
Yeah,
a
but
step.
I don't make
That's
money.
a step farther, saying
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. You set the terms of the. You want this free
well,
thing.
I don't use Facebook.
I
so
can set
that's-
the terms of you getting it for free.
Yeah, I agree.
And you don't want it, then don't use it. But those are my terms.
Yeah, okay. That's why I don't use it. And I don't use it with ad blockers. I mean, I know I could use ad blockers, but I don't want to give them the information. It's not the ads I'm bothered by. It's the information that they're sucking up, they're hoovering up that I don't like.
I just don't want to support their business model.
Yeah,
That's just
exactly.
me.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, their business model is media's business model. That's the funny thing about it. Media created the attention-based business model and the mass media business model. And the problem with the internet today is that they're copied the old model rather than creating new models. And we're I think we're the dying embers of the old model before they figure out that it's not going to work much more. So that's why I'm not so concerned. I think the ad model as we've known it is going to disappear because you're irritated with it, because it's not going to work, because you can avoid it.
Right. So do
Meanwhile-
you agree that Facebook is the doomsday machine?
Oh, that just, you can imagine my blood pressure when I saw that. And from somebody in a publication I respect. I respect Adrienne LaFrance. I respect The Atlantic. But Jesus, a better textbook example of moral panic you cannot imagine.
Well, then I won't ask you to summarize her point. But I think maybe you'd be
I
better.
gave up on it like I gave up on our 1 week theme.
Yeah, it didn't even last as long as that, probably. She says limitations to the doom. She starts off really kind of dramatically.
Yeah, that's more
Kind of moral panic, saying, remember when it was the notion of mutually assured destruction was what kept us from a nuclear war? And at one point, scientists even thought maybe what we should build is an automated doomsday machine that should a nuclear war happen, will just take it the rest of the way and destroy the planet. That way, everybody involved would know any attempt to start a nuclear war will guarantee the destruction of the planet. That will keep us safe. This, fortunately, nobody ever built, although Adrienne does say that the Soviets did. But I don't know, maybe it didn't work. That's all I can think. If there's a doomsday machine sitting somewhere under the Siberian ice, now I'm a little nervous. Anyway, she says limitations to the doomsday machine comparisons are obvious. Facebook cannot, in an instant, reduce a city to ruins the way a nuclear bomb can. And whereas the doomsday machine was conceived of as a world-ending device so as to forestall the end of the world, Facebook started because a semi-inebriated Harvard undergrad was bored one night. But the stakes are still life and death. Mega scale is nearly the existential threat that mega death is. No single machine should be able to control the fate of the world's population. And she says that's what both the Doomsday Machine and Facebook are built to do. The cycle of harm perpetuated by Facebook's scale at any cost business model is plain to see.
Says the woman from mass media, but keep going.
Most people who are complaining about big tech the complaint seems to be it's too big. And that's in effect what she's saying. The mega scale of Facebook is what makes it dangerous. Facebook has conducted social contagion
experiments. The mega scale of Facebook is also what enables people who otherwise could never have been heard in mass media to finally be effing heard. Because because gatekeepers like editors kept them out, and communities and people who were never heard couldn't be.
That
scale is what allows voices.
Don't you think, though, Facebook has been used most notably, not exclusively, but most notably to promote extremist causes?
No, a million times no. I don't see any of your damn... Who do you follow? Nazis when you're on Facebook? I see nothing extremist in my feed. Nothing, except you.
I think you've buried your head in the sand, Jeff. I think it's very clear.
No, I'm telling you my feed. I'll share my feed with you. Look at my entire feed.
I'm not talking about your feed. But it's very
I don't
clear
see you're saying.
Facebook
is it used predominantly for it? No.
Facebook
No.
Okay.
Give me the evidence. Just like Ann said a minute ago. Give me the damned evidence. This is the definition of moral panic.
I think the Proud Boys marching in Washington, D.C. are the evidence. I think QAnon is the evidence.
I think the rise of extremism, if not directly correlated, is related. I mean, I look at my dad doesn't believe that Biden actually won the election. Like, he is a smart man. And
does he watch Fox?
He somehow...
Well, Fox is just... I'm not saying Fox is not... Although Fox
mostly spends
declared
time
Biden
on
a
YouTube
winner.
and Facebook.
Yeah,
and Fox was okay.
It's not that Fox is okay so much as Facebook is bad. I'm not going to defend Fox or anybody else. That's another problem.
Yeah, and I know that's one person, but
well, no, it's not just one person, Stacey. I hear that all the time, and I know people for whom that's an issue. I know a lot of people who get their news from Facebook and YouTube. And who believe it.
My father doesn't
people also argue
Facebook.
that
he watches Fox and he gets it.
Yeah.
Some will also argue that not Facebook, CNN and Fox are just as powerful as Facebook.
I
just
disagree.
Because of the sensationalism.
Yeah, there's certainly that, but I think that old media doesn't have the power that Facebook does to do this. And honestly, I think we're lucky that Mark Zuckerberg has not shown any interest in deciding who should be running the United States. Because if he did, he has the levers he could pull. You don't agree, Jeff?
No, I do not. No, you give the American people no agency, no credit for making up their own mind. You think, and this is the perfect third person effect. You, Leo, can't be affected, but everybody else are sheeple who are going to be changed how they vote and how they run the country because Mark Zuckerberg decides something. Give them some credit. Yes, we have idiots in this country, about 40%, but they were there anyway.
I think that if you see enough people saying the same thing enough times, it becomes less outlandish. If I got on here every single show and I was like, y'all, toothpaste is not as effective. I know this sounds weird, but if you use oatmeal instead of toothpaste,
I do it. I would do it if you said that.
It's going to help clean your teeth.
I would do
Stacey
it.
said
But if I said it,
if Stacey said it, of course.
And if Jeff, you tried it, and you were like, well, I don't know about this, but Stacey said it, sure. And then Jeff started saying it, and every week that's what you saw was Stacey and Jeff talking about how their oatmeal is so much better than toothpaste. People are going to start.
Watch out! Here comes a Gutenberg reference. Watch out! Warned you.
All right, hit me.
When print started, nobody trusted print because they didn't know who made it. What we trusted was what we would now call rumor, because I knew the traveling salesperson who came through town and the innkeeper, and I knew what they said, and I trusted that. This print stuff I didn't trust. Print was unreliable.
How does that sound? Trust in rumors?
No, but the point is, it was not operated at that mega scale. It was very much limited by the fact that it had to walk from one town to the other to spread.
No, it's not, Leo.
And admittedly, it did spread. It did happen, but it didn't happen at the rate and the magnitude that it's happening now.
I beg you to ask the ghosts of witches who got killed because of print. There was plenty of bad stuff like that, and print was blamed the same way. The point here is it takes time to invent the institutions that bring the authority. It took time to invent the notion of the editor and the publisher and the academic related to printing that came along to say that is reliable, that's not. That's a newspaper or that's a book publisher, this is not. We're doing the same thing now, and we're in the very early throes, and we don't have those institutions now. So what happens is there's a vacuum into which, yes, trolls and bad people go and manipulate that. We need to invent institutions of authority.
You don't think that the scale of Facebook changes, the quantity of Facebook changes the quality of what is going on? I agree. It's
that
the same
argument
thing
was
that's
made
always gone on
when I was a TV critic.
But we weren't at that scale yet. We are now at that scale. Nothing before has had 2.5 billion.
That is a privileged argument.
It's not privileged. Nothing.
Yeah, no, you've got your platform, but all the people who didn't have it before you?
Wait a minute. Nothing in the past, nothing now has had 2.5 billion daily active users. Facebook operates at a scale that has never before been seen.
And no two people see the same Facebook. So you presume if there's one bad thing on Facebook, everybody sees it.
No, that's not true. Facebook's algorithm promotes all sorts of stuff, and that algorithm is really been given way too much power in the overall.
Give me the data, bud. Nope.
There's lots of data.
Nope,
You've got your head in the sand, Jeff. You just you've already decided you do not want to hear what's going on.
No, I'm just tired of having the same
effing
argument week after week after week after week after week after week after week.
Well, because
we disagree. Can we go there?
Jeff,
we disagree.
Wait a minute, Jeff. The rest of the world is going there. You're the only one dragging his heels. The reason this
out of
argument
moral panic
even crops up is because you refuse to accept what is patently
I criticize
obvious
Facebook
to everybody
lots. I've written
else.
about this lots.
This is
They're
obvious
doing this wrong. But this idea that they are the doomsday machine is BS of BS. And what it does is it hurts the internet. And it takes off the voices who finally have their place. And so we're going to kill Section 230, and we're going to kill the opportunity for people, communities who were never heard in this country to be heard.
I don't want to kill 230, and I don't want to kill that.
Well, that's where this goes.
I think we should kill Facebook
that's where it's
real
used.
quick because I think Facebook is very anti-democratic.
Mom and Dad, stop fighting.
For Christmas, can we have a different story,
fight.
please?
This guy, for some reason, refuses to accept the way things are.
And you refuse to accept that you need some
Jeff,
data,
I'm
and
not
you need
alone.
to trust the agency
Jeff,
of the American people.
It's time to
I don't care if you're not
paying
alone.
attention.
40% of the people voted for Trump. What does that prove? Nothing.
The problem is we're marching down this path, and Jeff says it's not happening, but everybody else is watching it happen. Jeff says it's not happening. You're wrong, Jeff. You're just wrong.
Your Holiness, yes, you should come out with your index of forbidden books. It will preserve the minds of the people, and they will not be corrupted by this.
I can't understand why you're so
more.
anxious to defend Facebook, which is a blatantly
I'm
flawed.
not anxious to defend Facebook. Facebook is flawed as can be. I'm writing that all the time, just the one you bring up. I am anxious to defend the internet and the public conversation.
I'm not attacking the internet. I'm attacking Facebook.
Facebook is not
Once
the
Facebook
internet.
gets attacked, there goes 230, there goes the net. That's the problem.
No, okay. That's a slippery slope. But Ant has been trying to speak.
Yes. Ant, please.
I still have my issues just with people in general, the original posters of this ridiculous stuff that actually gets onto Facebook and continues to spread like wildfire. And I'm not just talking about the political stuff, but people in general, it's just some weird societal norm now. You want to post a video of some people fighting out here in the streets. Why? Why do we want to see that as people, humans? And then it just continues to spread. And Facebook, they see that on their little data chart that, this particular post is just going out. So Facebook says, you know what, let's just keep pushing it on over there. And nobody thinks to say, that's some bull crap. Stop spreading stupid stuff like this. And you can take that to the next level with political lies and other crap, So it's not just
they
Facebook.
optimize
it's people
for rubbernecking.
I would agree with Jeff that stuff has always gone on. What has changed is those people voice rumors are always been part of society, especially American society. But what has changed is this bully pulpit. Now, I agree with you, Jeff, that the pulpit is important to people who haven't had voices. So I don't want to throw that out, but I think you've got to acknowledge there's a problem that somehow, and I think it's because of the algorithm, Facebook clearly elevates this garbage that you're talking about, Ann, because it generates engagement.
It gets clicks.
And that's a big problem. And so I don't know how you can say that's not a problem. I'm not trying to say get rid of the internet or get rid of
I'm
Section
saying
230.
we'll start with media. That's what media invented. That's the attention-based marketplace, and media does everything that Ant doesn't like. Media throws on all the time and gives us a skewed view.
I've
of the
never
world.
been
So
a fan
start
of
there.
local news either.
Yeah,
but they
it
never
sucked up-
had
it
that
sucks
kind
too.
of. But they never had that kind of power.
They have huge scale. Local news has had huge scale. Local news invented scale. That is the beginning of mass. Is local television. That and the steam power.
I think
For
we're not
Christmas,
gonna
can we get a
solve
different story?
Yeah, I was like, we're not going to move
I'm just so
anywhere.
tired
But
of
let's
this.
not talk about
I'm
Facebook.
so
Let's
tired
talk
about
about
this.
Google.
Okay, well, let's take a break. I don't take votes here. It's
Or
not
that-
a democracy. But
You just changed the theme.
This is
On
not a
democratic
democracy.
I know what's
Stacey liked the drums.
I know what's an important story, and you may not like it.
Oh,
but
come
it's
on!
an important
That
story.
write-up, that piece. Come on!
Facebook
It was
buying a
overdone, and
full-page
you
ad
knew.
in the New York Times, the Wall Street
No, not
Journal.
that. Not that. The Doomsday Machine in
Well,
the
it's
Atlantic. Come on!
it's an add-on to
That's
this
overdone.
larger story of Facebook buying a full-page ad in the largest newspapers in the country, saying we're standing up to Apple for small businesses, is a perfect example of what's wrong with Facebook.
Well, at the same time, sorry, while you're on this, you got to go to another one. If you would, line 103.
That's not a democracy. We're taking a break. I don't know where
Hey,
you
pay
guys
the
got
bills,
the
pay the bills.
got the impression
Because you
that
just went with a vote for the theme.
Well, that was different. I let the listeners vote, not you guys.
Wow.
All right. What is it? Line what?
103. It's just related. It's
This
a
whole
related
line
story.
thing is driving me nuts.
You asked
Publishers.
for it a while ago, and then you changed your mind. You're not. You
I
can't figure out
never
your own
said I liked
democracy
the
in your own
line thing.
head.
Did I say I liked
Yes,
the line
you did.
thing?
You said you liked it.
Hey,
Gonna
hey,
find the
boys.
clip.
I
Boys.
hate this line thing. Major news publishers in the U.S. joined the Coalition for App Fairness Advocacy Group to fight the Apple tax. Now, this is sort
App
of related.
fairness for accuracy, Apple tax. And this is top publishers like the New York Times and others in the so-called Digital Content Next, which is a lobbying group
This is about the
using
App
their
Store,
political clout.
which is a little different from Apple saying, hey, you have the right to privacy. Let me show you what this app is collecting. Do you want it to do that? I'm all for that. I agree there are real problems with the App Store, and Apple has responded to that by reducing, for any company making less than $1 million a year, reducing their VIG to 15%, which I think is a very
That's
fair
good.
thing to do. Yeah. And it's not the end of that. And I think there are problems with the App Store. I'm absolutely in agreement. But I don't see any problem with Apple exposing to anybody who uses an app on their platform, here's what this app is collecting. Okay?
No, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but Facebook's not. Why do you think Facebook's not?
That was not the point. I was fine with with your
Well,
argument on the
that
ad.
was the
I was
story.
not fine with your doomsday piece.
No, okay. Fine. I agree. It's a little bit of hyperbole to
Yeah,
say
it's a little over
doomsday
the effing
machine.
top.
I agree. That's
Even Stacey's not scolding me for using the MP words on that story.
No, that's a perfect example of it. However,
Okay.
I'm not thrilled
Now a
about
commercial.
Facebook saying, hey, you shouldn't know what we're up to. Why would you want to know what we're up to? You know that's bad for America if you know what we're up to.
Right.
To me,
Hey,
that is almost an admission that they're up to something up to no
too-
good.
Facebook did two
Yeah,
other
this-
things that are really stupid in this line. We will get to after the message from a sponsor.
Yes. And go ahead, Stacey.
oh, no. Let's take that break.
I want
Let's
to
take
talk
that
about a podcast where there are no arguments. There's no fighting. It's a podcast about technology. You should probably be listening to that instead of this. It's called It's from Dell. It's called Technology Powers X. The X being some of the most interesting businesses in the world. The host, Danielle Applestone, is a hardware engineer. She's an entrepreneur. She's actually great. In each episode, they focus on a different industry, and they help you understand kind of how enterprise technology, things like AI, cloud, edge, intelligent devices, are changing that business. It's actually fascinating. One episode's about theme parks. You know that the rides nowadays on theme parks are so heavily instrumented, they're spewing data as you're riding that roller coaster, all sorts of data, G-forces, speed, people on it, how they're screaming, all those sensors, the massive amount of data, and then they use that software to do a number of things to make rides more efficient, to make rides more fun, and make them safer. Fascinating. That's just one episode. Another one is about F1 racing, how the legendary McLaren racing team uses technology. Again, those cars, tons of data coming off of them. They use that technology to analyze the data and make decisions about should we do a pit stop? What tires should we be using? What racing strategies should we be using? And they not only have computers trackside, they have data centers now. There's a lot of money in F1 racing. This is an episode on beer. Listen.
Today at New Belgium, the ancient craft of brewing has an indispensable 21st century ingredient: hyperconverged infrastructure. That infrastructure supports almost every aspect of planning, marketing, sales, and distribution.
Next time you have a beer, next time you quaff a fat tire, think about hyperconverged infrastructure. Why don't you? It's actually fascinating. Technology powers X. You can listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts. Download every episode today. Look for it. Technology powers X from Dell Technologies. And download each episode today. And Danielle Applestone, really a great show. And thank you for your support of This Week in Google. By the way, there's no fighting on Technology powers X.
Should I give you two things that are really stupid that Facebook did?
Sure.
Would that make you happy?
No.
So
What do you think? I'm like out to get Mark Zuckerberg?
I thought we
Jesus,
were going to
now I'm criticizing them, and I can't win. I just can't win.
Would that make you happy? Okay, go ahead.
Well, because you want to kill it, so I'm trying to give you ammunition.
Okay,
I'm putting
good.
a
Give me
bullet
some
in your
ammunition.
gun.
All right, let's go.
Jeez.
Give me something that'll kill Facebook. Honestly,
So,
if I
Leo,
could flip a
it's
switch and kill Facebook,
It's
I
on
would.
line 33. Take that, fella. Take that.
All right. Line 33. Facebook working on TLDR to
So the first thing they're
summarize
doing
news
is they're working on
articles.
an algorithm to summarize news articles so you don't have to read them. Oh, that's going to make them real effing popular with the news industry that hates them.
Good Lord,
And then
Google,
they're also
look at all the
working-
trouble Google's getting from snippets. This is worse than snippets.
Yeah, we're going to summarize your article and take it away. And then the other thing they're working on is a means to, I think we talked about this before, to read your brain's commands. Another thing, Facebook's the last company on earth you would trust to do that. I will admit that fully. These are two
Wait a
PR
minute.
bonanzas.
You don't want them to read your brain?
Even I,
if you got
because God
better
knows what they do
ads?
with it.
You get better ads.
No, even I. Even you found the line.
He's trolling.
You found,
I
you
think they
found
are.
the creepy
but see,
line.
I
from
guess my
Facebook.
point is they are reading your brain. They just don't have to put anything in.
Oh, jeez.
Well, they totally are. You don't think they
I-
have sentiment analysis and they know that you're in a bad mood today, or you're
give
in a
you
good
an inch,
mood, or-
you take a batter.
You don't
bat
think
out,
they're doing
go over the
that?
head with it.
Nowhere.
We know they're doing that. We know they're doing
Having this service to summarize the article does nothing, in my opinion, because most people just read headlines and keep it.
They're already summarizing.
You're right.
Read headlines and reshare it after
Yeah.
they read the headline because they fell for the clickbait of
This
the
was
You know what
all
else,
they-
Ant? The articles are too damn long anyway. They deserve to be summarized. That's what Axios does as a business model, and it works.
These announcements of product demos are part of an end-of-year company-wide meeting, which of course was probably private, but anyway, it's always leaks out.
Somebody got one, yeah.
BuzzFeed News obtained audio of the meeting, which is not public, but was broadcast to thousands of employees. So, shock. A slew of pre-recorded company executives, some who called 2020 a trying year as the company weathered a global pandemic. Oh, maybe. What do you think? You think? And the backlash of the police killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and other black Americans.
The
Despite
story
the term-
takes a long time to get to the point, actually, so it actually needs a summary. It takes a long time to get to the stuff in the headline.
Yeah. You know what? I could use that tool to summarize this
Yeah, you
very
could. You
poorly
actually could.
written story. It's called TLDR. It can summarize news articles in bullet points, just like Axios. Yeah, what's the difference if a human does it? I mean, that's what we do.
That's what we do every week, right? At some
Well,
point.
technically, some of us try to offer some insight.
Yes, we comment on it.
Or entertaining arguments around them,
Yeah.
to some.
We
That wasn't
just use the
entertaining.
story
that
as
was so traumatizing.
Really? Or I'm sorry.
It is to me.
apologize.
I wanted to crawl under my desk.
But first of all, Jeff and I love each other. So,
Right.
like brothers,
That's
we
why
can
it worked.
fight. But second, this is an
True.
important conversation, I think, in the American future. We're going to have to deal with this. Don't
Yep.
you think?
We
But
could deal with
mommy
it
and daddy shouldn't
not
fight.
at top volume.
You asked for my microphone to go louder. See, I told you you
What a
read it.
mistake.
It's all on me.
Yeah, Ant.
TLDR.
Where John had potted me down and you ruined it.
TLDR stands for too long didn't read, in case you didn't know. You know,
I am
honestly,
curious.
Facebook, this is an example of Facebook not thinking about anything except, well, we know people want this, so let's do it. We know it would generate
not reading the room,
engagement,
but, yeah.
so let's do it.
Yeah, they-
Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, right? Go ahead, Stacey.
So, Well, I was just wondering, Twitter did their maybe you should read the article if you try to retweet something based on headlines. And I'm curious how often you encounter that, hey, maybe you should read this. And
I
if
never
it
get
changes
that.
your behavior at all.
I never get that. Do you get it?
But you're not on
I get
Twitter.
it. Yeah, I was like, are you on Twitter?
Well,
Trying to retweet
it's one
things?
reason I never retweet.
There's that.
I don't retweet. You're right.
But I do sometimes, and sometimes it's because I know I've already read the article, and I encounter it again in Twitter, and I'm like, oh, okay. And sometimes it is. It's just like, maybe I should. So a couple times I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I should be checking out the article. And they call that feature something TDLR. So
TLDR.
I was just wondering if anyone else.
Interesting.
TLR.
Yeah, I get that on Twitter every now and then because there are some things that I will
Does it change your
reshare out
behavior?
Because, pardon?
Does it change your
Does it
behavior?
change your behavior, she's asked.
No, because when I typically do that, it's because I know the source and I already trust the source that it's coming from. It's like another creator that I want to support. I know what they're putting out there. I know they're not putting a bunch of crap out, and so I just go ahead and reshare it.
It's the value of
Okay.
of preprint communication where you trusted the source rather than because you knew them rather than the publication.
Right. But most of the time, I do go ahead and read things before sharing it. But if I already see the source, and sometimes
Stacey,
I
does it
just
change
won't bother
you?
reading it. It's just out
Does
of
it change your
support.
behavior?
It has on occasion.
Sorry, Aunt.
No, I usually trust the source, but sometimes if it's someone retweeting something else or there was a scientific paper. Oh, there was a scientific paper the other day that I tweeted because I was like, oh, this is fascinating. And I had put it in Google Keep to read it, and I scanned it just to, I clicked through, scanned it, but I guess I didn't click through long enough because Twitter was like, are you sure you want to retweet this?
Oh, really?
And I was
it has a timer on
Wow.
it. Oh, wow.
I don't know if
didn't
it has a
that.
timer. And I was like, yes. But you know what? I should have read the whole thing carefully because
They were right.
I could have been more accurate. It wasn't inaccurate. It just could have been
Twitter
more
knew.
accurate.
Twitter knew.
Twitter slapped your wrist.
It's funny
I didn't
because
take
this
it as
computer science has been working on these summary things. Remember, Word used to do this for a long time until Facebook said, "What if we did this?" Nobody even noticed. Nobody even noticed these summarizers. You used to be able to. I think you might still be able to in Microsoft Word take a long article and say, "Give me a 200-word summary. Give me a 100-word summary."
Really?
Yeah. For a long time. Am I nuts? Does anybody remember that?
I'm not going to say you're nuts.
It's
I
regarding
never
that.
summarize.
It's been around a long time. Facebook, and I take it line 35 is the other one. Facebook builds. This is a good idea.
This was not mine. Yeah.
This is Facebook doing Cameo. Cameo is the strangest thing ever, but it makes perfect sense. Do you know about Cameo? You can pay
Yes.
a lot of has-been celebrities to do a special message.
It's not
You can get
has-beens.
Snoop Dogg.
It's not has-beens. There's a lot of those folks out there that they're not working right now, and this is just another.
Not
stream
working
of
right
income.
now is a synonym for has-been.
No.
No?
A lot of people
Think
aren't
about the
working right
comedians.
now.
Comedians aren't traveling as much.
No,
to do their
you're right.
gigs and things.
So
like
let's see.
that, so.
Personalized videos featuring your favorite stars. Floyd Mayweather, Gabby Douglas, Drew Brees. He's got nothing to do. He got hurt. He's just on the sidelines. Roseanne Barr for $200.
Oh, God, no. Oh, you couldn't pay me.
Well, I guess, if I were a celebrity, I would really pay attention to what my price is. Like Debbie Gibson, $249.
Yeah, their agents are
It's
all over
Roseanne
that.
Barr.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr's $200. Johnny Weir, Olympic figure skater, $95. That's a bargain.
Johnny Weir's amazing.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
But he's not
He
skating.
critique
He's
outfits for
talking. That's the
people?
problem.
He's the
Johnny Weir
he's
has
the
many
guy who looks. But see, that was the Winter Olympics. That was almost 3 years ago. So maybe people have forgotten them. So this is an interesting way to make money. Santa, $59. See,
Dougie
Yeah, it'd be
Fresh.
fun if you-
My husband would love it.
Dougie Fresh. So that's what. By the way, that's
You
exactly
should
what you're
sign up
supposed to
and See
think.
what they ask you to do.
Oh, I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't do this. Sugar Ray is only $90. That seems weird.
Well, maybe he makes it up on volume.
And again, you have to.
Somebody's at your
consider the
door,
agent as
Stacey.
well.
You want to go get that? Go ahead.
Package for me.
It's a package for Stacey. Johnny Damon, $100. Shooter. So, okay,
Take
maybe
something like
DD
this, Mr.
Khan?
Laporte,
Oh, my
versus
Lord.
them having their own Patreon accounts. What are your thoughts?
So you can get Penn Jillette for $99, which seems, and for $3 you can chat with him.
Oh, are those samples?
Yeah.
Hey, Will, this is Penn. Penn Jillette, Penn and Teller. You know, big guy does magic. Smaller guy next to me, he does magic too. He doesn't talk that much. Anyway, Will, I want you to know one thing that is not him. And that
We need
is
to fix
Merry
his
Christmas
headroom.
to you and a Happy New Year from your buddy Kyle, and who you
Oh, this is
wouldn't know
sad.
about Penn and Teller if not for you, Will, and I appreciate that.
He got
way
hoarse
back
doing
in
it.
high school, huh? Way back in high
So he-
school and
he got
college.
$100
you're watching
for
bullshit.
30 seconds
Well, good
worth.
for you. Keep up the critical thinking and have a wonderful Merry Christmas and
Speaking
a
of
wonderful
things
Happy
that
New
don't
Year. The
scale.
best thing.
Yeah.
Pen doesn't scale.
Yeah, he needs to get a tripod. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna dish on Penn because
Oh, wait, does his go to St. Jude's?
Oh, so that's different if it goes
That's different then.
if it goes to yes.
Oh, that's good catch, Stacey.
So that's the
Good
heart
catch.
flag. Okay, that's a biggie. So he's doing it for
That is a big
charity.
difference.
I'm
nice.
sorry, Penn.
All right. Sorry, Penn. Sorry. I
So
take
if they
it
have a
back.
little heart flag on there, that means they've got a charity. Oh, so Sugar Ray's doing it for St. Jude's as well. Oh, that changes the whole. I feel like a terrible
it does.
person.
You're
now.
going to be all snarky and
I'm an
everything.
awful
and now
person.
look.
But again, what are your thoughts on someone that's not donating to a charity? This is just an extra bit of revenue for them during
people
this.
I don't have a problem with
I think
them.
it's
Pandemic.
nice.
Caitlyn
versus-
Jenner
Yeah.
is $2,500. Boozy
Not
Badass.
to
it.
charity.
Who's Boozy Badass? Boozy Badass is $1,500. Do you think he's getting a lot of work? Shark Tank
Snoop,
investor
how much-
Robert O'Leary
see-
is not
Snoop's
going to charity.
1,200.
Did you see the videos that the professors did at the beginning? Like a bunch of professors at a college got together, paid for Snoop to do a cameo, and then they edited the cameo into their video for like reading their syllabus.
That's awesome.
And it was actually
That's
a really
brilliant.
creative kind of thing.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And so I think the idea of getting, like, when used that way, as opposed to like just sending someone a birthday card, it really kind of opens up weird avenues of creativity that I know Jeff likes to, like your Ratatouille video, right? You
And
really
and this didn't exist until
Yeah.
this is because of COVID, right? These people are all at home. Or no, did this? I think
you
it might
could
have
do
been-
this before
No, this
COVID.
existed.
Yeah, but it really took off
because of COVID.
Yeah. So now is it Facebook who's doing this? Facebook's doing it. So sorry. This is kind of what the antitrust thing was all about. Was as soon as they see something successful, they say, "Oh, we can do that," and they either buy them.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. This is a service that exists. Why are they adding this?
Right.
And why
It's
are they
called-
adding it after they've been sued?
It's called Super. It will let creators, entrepreneurs, or celebrities host live interactive video events. Oh, it's a mix between Twitch and Cameo. Viewers can tip creators by buying them digital gifts or pay to appear alongside a creator during the live stream to ask a question or take a selfie.
YouTube
Ooh,
also
so like
has
Twitch,
a similar
Patreon,
service, sir.
Coffee. Yeah.
Now, if you see me on this sometime in the next few months, you'll know things have gone very poorly.
Is it also kind of like OnlyFans?
Oh yeah, did you see how OnlyFans? Now OnlyFans, which initially, or at least in my mind, always was about adult
Is
performers, but now
Yeah, but
everybody's doing
Yeah,
it.
explain this to me. Is it
Right.
now not just porn? I haven't gone there out of fear.
Same here.
Okay, well,
you
don't show
can
my
find
screen.
people.
Because I'm going there. No, yeah, So it could be a lot of things. It could.
Well, you got to sign
You
in
can
before you
find
can do anything.
Adult.
There's
Like,
a lot of
I
content.
could start there, like
Yeah.
Stacey explains it all for different topics,
Right.
I guess.
So
I
it's
don't
like
think that
Patreon. I
people
mean,
would-
Patreon is the first of these, pretty much, right?
Well, but Patreon's a little bit different because you don't have to do the activity right there in the platform.
You're rewarding something they're already doing. Yeah. You're rewarding a creativity.
So it's a little bit
for its
different
own
than
sake.
creating a revenue stream.
Yeah.
OnlyFans
does a similar thing with its super chat feature. If you're doing a live stream like you would on Twitch or whatever, and if you have enough subscribers, you can do super chats where they can pop into the chat room, say what they want to say, but if they select to do a super chat, it pushes them up in the queue. So you as the creator see what their message is or question is a little bit.
And they pay for that?
And they pay for that. And it could be...
You can make a lot of money on Twitch. Have you ever done that, Ant?
What, Twitch?
Yeah.
No, sir. Just YouTube.
I know people who do quite well on Twitch. I know because there are also super donors. So I don't know if I can say who this person is. You know him, but I won't say his name. But he does it, and he told me there's one woman who will throw thousands of dollars at him, just like every once in a while, just psh, psh, psh. So you can make some money.
Jesus.
I know. OnlyFan
People,
is going to earn $300 million in profits, according to a person familiar with the matter, from $400 million in revenue. 90 million users, most of which are paying subscribers. So it's very lucrative.
So from their blog, examples of the safe things, soap making with May Call, bathroom renovations with Winnie Designs, photo editing tips from Danny Batista, and...
See, I think this is exactly what you were talking about, Jeff. The really beneficial side of the internet is giving people this direct drive access to their audience.
Yes,
it's great.
Yes.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, and not just their audience, but importantly, when it comes to the hashtag, to each other.
Yeah,
it's because the First Amendment doesn't just protect the right to speak, but also the right to assemble, and the internet creates the ability to assemble.
I will also say, though, it can be a scary, wild, unpleasant place. And most platforms who are trying to make it easy to connect don't think through the effects of certain design decisions for marginalized people or people who might be.
I agree.
So I think...
Absolutely agree.
Every time you rush out, find your audience, you're so in danger of finding your, we'll call it the anti-audience, can also... So I think,
Stacey, I'd say it's that, but it's also if you don't design to avoid manipulation.
But so when we talk about those, I feel
both.
like you shut things down because you shout moral panic when what we might be talking about, I know we are just saying like Facebook is evil, blah, blah, blah. But some of the decisions that people are trying to make and why people are suing Facebook is to implement some of these better design decisions or to help mitigate the optimization for, crisis or in scary, moral panicky reporting. So
I'm all for that, Stacey.
When you recognize...
Yes, when you have a normal conversation like you, being a mature, smart, sane, civilized,
Stacey, I am not going
person,
back to him. I don't care what you say.
Then everything's fine. But if you're going to scream that it should be shut down and it's a doomsday machine ruining Earth, slightly different things, Casey. It's the scale of
You're
the
on the
idiocy.
couch
I can't
tonight,
help
Jeff.
but go after
You're
it.
on the couch.
All right.
So Google was out yesterday.
Moving right along.
Nice try, Stacey.
Google was...
Yes.
You ever thought about being
Google?
a therapist?
Did you talk about
You'd
Google?
be good at this. You have that nice calming voice. You're very soothing. You could offer cookies.
No, I think Stacey
I
would want
would
to
crawl
tell
into
people
this
sometimes
when
you're full
people
of crap.
argued.
Yeah. You have to be able to take
Well, I
the
would do that too.
emotional heat in there.
Yeah, I think, come on, man, you need help. That's why I'm here, Dr. Higginbotham. I don't care. You need some other help. I can't deal with you. No,
I can't help you. I don't want to help you.
No, you're not worth my
Good,
help.
because I don't want to live with him anymore.
Oh, gosh.
Google was down on Monday and then down again a little bit on Tuesday. I don't, do you want to know why?
We used to talk about this all the time, and now it's news because it happens so rarely. But yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because Stacey does.
It happened. It's news also because more and more people are relying on the cloud. For instance, we use Gmail. Lisa, for an hour or two yesterday, couldn't get any mail. And this is a crunch time right now. A lot of lot of advertisers make their last-minute decisions for next
Year
quarter
end.
right now. So this was a big deal that she wasn't getting any mail. So I think the reason it's a bigger story now is not because it doesn't happen more. You're right, it happens less. But because when it does happen, people are really relying on this stuff. So this was apparently related to Google's authentication system. So the root cause was an issue in Google's automated storage quota management system, which in turn reduced the capacity of the authentication system. And of course, if you can't log in or you don't have the cookie and the cookie can't be validated, you can't get into anything, in this case on the Google Cloud platform, which is Google Console, Google's Cloud Storage, BigQuery, the Kubernetes engine, Google Workspace, which means Gmail, Calendar, Meet, Docs, and Drive. You were getting authentication errors.
Can you imagine why mail wouldn't work for me on the web but would work for me on my phone? Because I'm authenticated through the phone, or?
Probably related to the fact that you had authenticated more recently on the phone and you needed a re-authentication on the web because you hadn't authenticated so lately. So in other words, the phone would eventually have failed, but it would have taken longer. Yes, so that's a kind of really nice piece of evidence. Your phone continued to get mail, but your desktop did not. So that exactly sounds like what they said. It was the authentication went down. Yeah, you're right. It's not as big a story, and yet it is a big story. Remember Amazon was out for like 5 hours?
Remember the fail whale.
Yeah, that's right. Twitter used to go down routinely, all the time.
Now they're being
When I
hosted
heard
on
about
AWS.
Did you see that? They're moved to AWS.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
did.
big deal. Because they used to
It
run all
is.
their own servers. In fact, remember they used to have dedicated Justin Bieber servers? Because he would generate so much traffic.
I knew the guy who built their original architecture, and then as that failed a bunch, rebuilt it, and then that continued to fail as they scaled, and rebuilt it again.
You knew that guy? What is he doing now?
I have no idea.
Spends a lot of time in bars.
It was my old. It was like 2009.
Those were the days we put up the whale all the time. People love
created the
this
fail whale. Actually, I know the woman who drew the fail whale initially.
Really?
Yeah,
There you go,
Ying Lu. She, in fact, I have her original drawing on the wall that she did for me and Lisa.
Ooh.
She did. It was actually, that's an interesting story. She did it herself just as an illustration. She's a very talented illustrator, I think from Hong Kong, and wonderful person. And she did those drawings, Ying Lu. It was a birthday card called "Lifting a Dreamer," and it was on a stock image site. And Twitter just said, "Oh, there we go, a fail whale." It was a whale. Remember, it was a whale being lifted by Twitter like birds.
Little birds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
they bought it though, right? They didn't just steal it.
Yeah, although because it was stock photo, I don't, stock
didn't pay
image.
a lot for it.
I don't think they paid a lot. She was very gracious. She was very happy about it. And she still calls the illustration "Lifting a Dreamer." I think she was very happy. I have, if somebody, I'll bring it in. Because we must have had her on the new screensaver. We had her on something. And she just was wonderful. And she asked Lisa and me, "What's your favorite animal?" And I said mine, and I said an elephant, and I can't remember what Lisa said. So she drew us a lovely little drawing in that same style. She's very talented.
Cool.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Google Stories?
Oh, you know what? Let's take a break and we'll do a changelog. How about that? Would that make you?
I was going to talk about working from home. But
let's do that first. Working from home, and then we can do the break and then the changelog.
Just because I want to get y'all's take on when the pandemic will be over.
Just remember, it's not a democracy, but in this case, I'm going to allow it.
Because Stacey has better lobbyists than I do.
She's got.
As my mom always told me, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah.
So
I think it's actually the possession of this challenge coin that has made me feisty today.
Or an a-hole,
dear. Someone please steal that.
Yes.
I think this is really what's changed my life.
I think it has.
All right,
So
Stacey, work from home.
Google said they're going to let their employees
Oh, yeah.
work from home until September 2021, which I thought, so September of next year. They moved it back from July. But then they also said they're going to try this flexible work week that makes you work 3 days in the office and the other 2 days can be at home.
Forever.
So I want it forever.
Forever.
To the end of time.
Yeah. It's funny
so
because
I just
Apple
wanted to see,
just
like-
announced June, and then a day later, Google says, no, September.
Which I think is far more realistic.
I think September is realistic, yeah.
I think it starts to be
Well, in
not
Apple,
for everybody.
to be fair, Apple they make physical products.
They need people
mostly,
in.
And yeah, you got to, and those are highly secretive.
Right.
I mean,
It's
They
amazing
need
they've been
all
able
their
to do it.
privacy army there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what they've been able to do without having.
If they were good at ad sales, they'd be out in the field, but they're not, so they don't need them.
Who?
but yeah, so y'all think September 2021 is when we'll be back to more of a normal setting? I'm curious when business
thinking-
travel will ramp back up and we'll have
I
physical
hope so.
conferences.
It all sort of depends on this vaccine too, though, right?
Yeah.
And the one unknown, we know the vaccine will work. The one unknown is how many people will take it.
Take
Yeah.
But I predict, there's been
We
a lot
also
of
don't know how
resistance.
it affects transmission.
That's right, isn't that? We don't know
That's
that.
right.
We have two
Yeah.
unknowns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's going to take it, and will it stop actual transmission or just
Right.
suppress symptoms?
I think it's
Okay,
going
go
to
on.
stop transmission. I think they don't know it because they don't have enough data yet.
They haven't studied it yet.
Yeah.
But
But I think
What I didn't realize,
most vaccines
I saw a
do.
really good thread today from a doctor who decided to enter the trial, actually, still, because they didn't still need
Oh,
trial
yeah,
for
they're still
AstraZeneca.
trialing, yeah.
And he goes through about how he was dubious about the speed of it, but then he researched it and found out why it was so speedy. In fact, it's quite amazing why.
they've been
And-
working on it since SARS. That's why.
Exactly.
And the woman who invented it 30 years ago and was poo-pooed. She was actually demoted at her university
Yep.
because they said, you'll never be able to make a vaccine that way.
All right.
It's a great story. The history of the vaccine is
Yeah.
fascinating. But no, we have been working on it for decades.
And a sexist
actually.
story, too, yes.
Yeah, very sexist. yeah.
So anyway, he goes through and through and through. Then I didn't realize, somebody said in a comment that he decided to do the trial because they needed it. He's a doctor himself. And I didn't realize that if he believes he got the water and wants to switch
The placebo
to get the vaccine,
Yeah.
he's not supposed to for 2 years because they need to track him for that long.
Oh, that's a bad thing.
So if you commit to the trial, I
That's a
never thought of
bad
this.
thing.
You've got to commit to giving them data for some period of time.
So you're in effect saying, if you do get the placebo, I won't get the vaccine for a long time.
That's what it's on
Yikes.
Twitter. Do I believe it or not? I don't know.
I believe
but it. Was, I just realized it was pretty obvious that you need data for a certain amount of time because we
Yeah.
don't know about things like transmission,
right.
right?
Or even long-term effects. Yeah. I suspect people are
most vaccines don't have long-term
Right,
effects.
right.
Like it's
Right.
mostly
That's-
short-term.
You know,
And-
within months.
just like most vaccines actually suppress transmission, but we just aren't for sure know that.
Right.
But
no.
I do think that when push comes to shove, people are going to do it. I think a lot of this resistance was in the abstract. Once it's actually available and your doctor calls you up and says, when are you coming in? I think people are going to do it. I have high hopes. We'll see.
I will 100%,
So-
even though I'm like one of the last people who's allowed to take it.
I know. I feel sorry for you. Jeff and I
I'm
we're
ahead of all of you.
We're like way ahead. Oh, yeah.
I'm
we're
over.
ready.
Well, I'm over 65 with plenty of pre-existing conditions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're set.
Old with comorbidities? You get it.
How lucky can a guy be?
I feel so unlucky. I'm so close. I got the comorbidities, but I'm just not old enough yet.
Yeah, I am.
Just wait.
I'll get there. With any luck, I'll get there. All right, let's take a break, and we have the change log still to come. My arch enemy, Jeff Jarvis, is here. He's a professor at CUNY, buzzmachine.com, and he doesn't want to hear any more about Facebook, okay?
I just don't want to have the same discussion for the 100th time.
Well, it's only because you're wrong.
I don't want to hear it. Let's move.
And then
Going.
Stacey Higginbotham, Stacey on IoT.com, and Aunt Pruitt's here from Hands On Photography, Hands On Wellness.
The voice of
Dear
reason.
friend, the voice of reason.
I try anyway.
And if he were to weigh in,
Wait, why am I not the voice of
no,
reason?
you're the
Hold
voice of
heck up.
reason.
Listen to the tone of how you just said that, Stacey.
No.
That was
I
not
wanna
a
correct
reasonable
this.
tone.
Stacey is the voice of reason, Ant is the enlarged bicep of reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that fits.
I'm not saying Ant can't also be the voice of reason. I'm just like,
I'm just saying, if Ant
It's
got
a very
between
unreasonable way to say it,
me
Stacey.
and
That's
Jeff,
all I'm saying.
I would stand back.
I know.
I go, yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir.
Well, that is true.
Yes, sir.
Grab you both by
Are we
your
going to get a
collars.
change log or not?
No, we have to do an ad first, Jeff.
Oh, that's right.
Jarvis. Our show.
Pay the bills. Pay the bills.
Our show.
He has turned into Donald Trump. He really has. It has gone into his personality. He's an authoritarian now. He doesn't like democracy anymore. He wants complete control. Yeah.
All right.
That thing is bad for you.
I am
This is
going to get a
movie.
whiskey, and when we get back, we're talking the changelog. So do this ad. You got till I finish my pour.
It isn't a coincidence that I am the 45th Leo clone to be put into operation. I just want to say that. Beautiful thing. Our show today brought to you by Bandwidth. Well, you might say, well, yeah, duh, I downloaded it. Not that kind of, not lowercase b, uppercase b, Bandwidth. Bandwidth is a carrier that is cloud native. They have injected the power of software into telephony, delivering cloud-ready voice calling, text messaging, and even more important, 911 built for the enterprise. They've helped some of the biggest brands in the world disrupt industries, create new products, change how people communicate. You might know one of the brands. It begins with a G and it ends with an E. It's got an O, O, G, and an L in between. For over 10 years, Google's been using Bandwidth. That's what Google Voice runs on. From Google Meet to Google Homes, Bandwidth APIs are behind the scenes of Google products, ensuring quality communications. We use Ring Central. They use Bandwidth too. Bandwidth is the default, the choice, the competitive local carrier that so many technologies use, like Microsoft and Zoom. Yep, they use Bandwidth to bring their most important customer experiences to life, from sending SMS notifications at just the right time to making sure call center calls are crystal clear, to ensure, and this is, again, the most important, reliable and secure 911 routing. It's very important, and there's regulations regarding E911 in business, and you've got to make sure that your carrier is doing it right, and they do. Their Bandwidth's running on their own Tier 1 carrier network, which means you get a no middleman pricing structure, and you can see right into it, so you get greater insight into quality and deliverability, and you get a seat at the industry table. There are lots of testimonials at bandwidth.com/twig. Here's one from Rover's co-founder and director of software development, Philip Kimmey. He says, no other provider offered the same level of hands-on support or cost savings that Bandwidth has been able to deliver. Their flexible APIs made it simple for us to get up and running without missing a beat. Let me think. Google uses it. Microsoft uses it. Zoom uses it. Maybe you should be using Bandwidth. Get the power and reliability of a Tier 1 carrier network paired with the control and agility of enterprise-grade APIs with Bandwidth. Start a free trial right now. Bandwidth.com/twig. BANDWIDTH. Bandwidth.com/twig. It's the capital B, Bandwidth. We thank them so much for their support. Bandwidth. There's so many features, so many things they can do. You just got to go to the site and check it out. Bandwidth.com/twig. So Ant got a cookie and Stacey got a whiskey. It's all upside down.
We're just still here grumbling. It's
I don't know if you
twisted
call this a
around.
cookie, but sure.
Okay,
Oh.
both got
Like,
whiskey.
what is it?
Wow, that's awesome.
Leo, we've driven them to drink.
That's a bad thing. So what are you drinking, Stacey? What's your beverage here?
Oh, I should have brought this is the Bainbridge Island
Local.
Distillery
Oh.
whiskey. It is quite good.
Isn't that nice?
So it is in
Is it a scotch or a bourbon or a what?
this is just their whiskey. They
whiskey.
actually
Okay.
Now tell me, wait a minute. Tell me, is that ice cube in the shape of the Death Star? What is going on with the ice cube?
have I not talked
It's
to
the
you about my
Facebook
fridge?
ice cube?
No, my fridge makes these giant ice cubes. It's this random feature that I had no idea it would do, but it does.
They're made for whiskey.
Outstanding.
Are they balls? Are they square? What is
Yeah, they're almost balls. They're like little indents on the top because it's just
Yeah,
not
yeah,
quite
to hold
perfect,
it.
But
You're supposed.
But
I
yeah.
actually, Lisa, one year gave me whiskey
Stones,
ball. Well, I have whiskey stones too, but I like ice in my whiskey because I like a little water in there. And they're balls though. And I guess the idea is that because of the shape, they don't melt as fast. There's no
They don't melt
Doesn't
as
water
fast.
it down as
doesn't
fast.
water it down. But I see you
And
drink
they
it.
also don't hurt your nose when you wonk it in your nose.
That's right. No points. But I see that, Aunt, you are drinking it neat.
Yes, sir.
You don't like to put anything in your whiskey. Do you
What,
put a little?
uh,
I have my
what's
moments,
the
but this
poison?
is just a finger.
Are you
of
drinking a
Abelauer,
finger of
'cause someone
Dewar's?
in the
What are you
chat room
drinking?
mentioned Abelauer earlier.
Oh, you still have the Abelauer?
Yes, sir.
I gave you that bottle a year ago.
Yes, sir.
You've been
Same
very
one. Still drinking it.
parsimonious. Or something, whatever that means.
Maybe he. It's like parsimonious kind of has negative connotation.
What's a better word? You're right. That's the wrong. You've been very
Sober.
I don't drink it. I don't drink scotch every day.
Only when he's on the
Wait
show.
a minute. You don't?
So next time
Not-
I'll
not
see
good
if I
scotch.
can.
Not that. I know that scotch is so good. I love the Abelauer. Yeah.
The Bainbridge guys have a. Do you like a peaty scotch?
Yes, I
Or
do.
That's more like a whiskey.
Lagavulin is my favorite.
Oh.
Okay, so a fun thing is they do a distillation in the Scotch barrels that adds a little of the peatiness, which I love. My husband doesn't care for
Cool.
it, but I'll bring you a bottle of that because I think it's delicious.
He's frugal.
Oh, thank you.
Is that better?
No, there's a
No,
better
there's
word,
gotta be
but
a
I
better
can't think of
word.
it right now
Yeah.
because y'all have traumatized
I
me.
wish one of you
in a
were
scary place.
knew how to. We're a writer or
It's
something.
okay.
Penurious, stingy, tight-fisted.
No.
not at
What?
all.
Wrong.
Going the wrong way.
He's moderate.
Thesaurus.
Bad thesaurus.
He's moderate.
Moderate. Yeah, that's
Moderate is
too
a good one.
nice. That's too soft.
He deserves nice.
He's efficient.
Nobody deserves nice better than our aunt.
Now,
More efficient. I'm
and-
definitely efficient about my whiskey.
My supermarket-
It costs so much, so I'm not going to just
Oh,
go
the
through
Abelauer's
it in a
good.
weekend.
Yeah, but so is that the same bottle I gave you, or is that a subsequent?
Nope. This
Oh,
is
that's
the
good.
Abelauer you gave me last July.
Oh, was it in July? Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, it's lasted a good
It
long
amazes
time.
me that whiskey stays good. I don't know why. It's just phenomenal to me.
It's so.
Not
I
all
will say
whiskeys
that after
do.
you go through about 2/3 of the bottle, you will notice a little difference in taste.
you will.
Abstemious. Is that it?
Abstemious.
Abstemious?
Abstemious.
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 Abstemious? Hadn't heard that one.
No, he's not
It
abstemious.
means you don't indulge.
Yeah, he's not abstemious.
No, I think he is. That means he doesn't over.
No,
right?
the concept is he's careful. He doesn't use. See, parsimonious is so close, but you're right. It's a
I'm
little negative.
pragmatic.
Pragmatic.
But sure. He exhibits self-control.
Now, what do you think? I got all the grocery store. The best one I could find at the grocery store was Angel's Envy. Is that okay? It's not great. It's a
It's
bourbon.
not bad.
You know, that used to be Kevin's house bourbon. I liked it.
It's a good house
It's
bourbon.
not bad.
Good. I'm going to call it my house bourbon.
There you go.
I mean, it's my house bourbon is Basil Hayden's, but I would, in a pinch, I will do Angel Envy or
Okay.
Angel's Envy.
Angel's Envy.
So-
Okay. All right. The thing
Not even in a pinch.
The thing I learned that I was really disappointed is that a lot of what you think of as good bourbons or whiskeys like Bullet are really not. They're made
Nope.
in a giant vat by a company that resells them to other companies.
Yep.
You knew about
A
that.
lot of them share the same mash bill.
Yeah. It's kind of depressing. But not
I would
Abelauer.
recommend, though. Not Abelauer, not Bainbridge Island Distillery.
No. We have a little one over here called Griffo. We had our Christmas party there last year.
I have their gin here.
It's okay. I don't think their whiskey's that good, though, is it? No.
I like the gin.
The gin's nice and botanical. Google used a 64 camera rig to train portrait lighting AI.
Which is
Put this
awesome.
in for Ant.
This
That's why I wanted that reaction.
So they're using machine learning models to understand portraiture so that they can then put that model in the camera. Is that what they're doing, Ant?
Well, again, you go back to, and I hate to make this about Apple, but go back to what Apple did in its last release with the camera app and figuring out, you have portrait mode, yes, where it's going to aesthetically blur out the background for whatever person you're trying to shoot. But then you need to have some sort of light source in there that may not already be there. And that's the beauty of being able to sort of drag it around on the screen and make it to where it's natural looking and not just a blob of an exposure increase. And this is just the next step in that, to making photography on the smartphone is still just a one-click thing and not a lot of thought process into it.
This is on the Google AI blog, enhancing portrait lighting with machine learning. And they actually, this rig, they brought in 70 models and 64 cameras, 331 individually programmable light sources. And they just photograph people with different face shapes, genders, skin tones, hairstyles, clothing, accessories. For each person, they generated synthetic portraits in different lighting environments. Here's an example. And then I guess the machine learning, it created a model, a data set, so that the machine learning could then look at your picture and say how they're going to apply the light.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And this is great because you can put this in any type of smartphone camera that doesn't necessarily have all of the hardware, to be able to pull this stuff off, because it's computational.
Right.
So that means keeping these phones under $1,000.
The other thing Google does, and they talked about this at I/O a year and a half ago, is they are able to get these models once they train them, and they're very large when they train them, but they can then get them down to a size small enough that you could easily put them on a smartphone. This portrait lighting model is 10 megabytes. That's all. It's kind of amazing. Lots of training,
It's
lots of
good
information. This is AI for the good, not the evil.
Like I said, I think I mentioned this last week, where my family, they're just sort of used to it. If I say, hey, let's get a picture, if we're out and about somewhere, they automatically look to see where the sun is. They just had to learn over time.
Yeah.
How to make it work for the camera. But now they don't, if something like this is in place, you don't have to think about that, because it's just snap it and go.
Sparing.
But then, Ant,
economical.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do, Ant? What do you mean?
I'm still going to keep shooting because I have fun.
No, I meant like your tips.
No.
Not in quotes.
We still need Ant.
Kind
I'll
of
tell you the deal.
Yeah.
I've realized this, and I mentioned it in a couple of shows, so I apologize if you're hearing me repeat this. But the camera phones do too much. They give you a great picture, but they take all the creativity out of it. They decide this is the image, this is what's going to look like, this is going to be the best result. And Ant, you still need Ant. You still need a good tool. You need the creativity if you want to make those decisions, not the AI. You need to kind of in a way a dumber camera, a more a manual camera, right? And then you need the help of Ant.
I hope to step in on the creative standpoint of it, but I also want to step in as far as the fundamentals, to help people understand why that AI is doing what it's doing. Can you
optimize? Knowing that the AI is going to be doing something? The example I always use, I took a great picture with a good camera and then with the iPhone of my family sitting around a fire pit. And the picture I liked was the one where I turned the exposure down so it's profiles and just lit by the fire. And the phone said, no, you want all the
Lift
details.
the shadows.
You want everything. And I
hate that.
Yeah. So is there a way to kind of anticipate what the phone's going to do and override it?
I can't speak to the iOS side, but at one point in time, the Google camera app had that HDR plus feature where you can toggle it on and off. I haven't seen that feature in there in the last 2 updates or so. I don't know why I can't turn it off. It's almost like they're saying, you know what, we're going to make this better for you. And in general, it's great to do that. But, just like you said, every now and then you want to have those dark shadows there because it sets the mood for the scene.
Mm-hmm. Google is actually adding to its memories feature. Do you like the memories feature? I love the memories feature.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
What is the memory? Is that where they just are like on this day and this
do you
day?
remember all those great meals you had in Paris?
Yeah, it's a little rough during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I kind of don't like that. Actually, I do like them because it's mostly pictures of my kid. And then we all, it's cute because since we're all at home, I'm like, oh, oh, remember when we did this?
Mom.
And then we have these sad moments where we're like, oh.
I absolutely dig it because it's been a bit of a bright spot every now and then.
To me,
we're dealing with so much crap with this pandemic.
Exactly.
Stuff going on socially, and just every now and then that pops up just at the right time to say, hey, remember this? And it just takes you back for a second. And,
It's one of the reasons I love my Google Nest Hub Max.
Oh, they discontinued that, by the way.
No, they discontinued the
no.
Max. Yeah, the big
The Max,
speaker,
sorry.
which I also love, and I'm very sad about. That is an awesome. It makes me so.
We knew
happy.
they were going to discontinue
other
that, though.
smart speakers.
But the one with the screen,
yeah,
because I get a great slideshow, and it's always going, and same thing. And I'll go, oh, remember that? That was fun. Oh, he was so young then. That kind of thing. It's so much fun.
Are you doing so?
Right.
Google just enabled this, but sorry, I think we're in the middle of the changelog. Should I tell you this?
No,
It's
we're
important.
starting to change.
Play the drums. Play the drums. Quick.
Oh, wait.
Before she says anything. Play
No, I don't know if this is new.
Play the drums.
Change log.
Oh, you're now in forbidden
You
territory,
are
Stacey.
now in the change log. Go ahead.
I don't know when they changed it.
They
It
just
might not
changed
be
it.
new.
They just did it. I guarantee
Well,
you.
they added something called Family Note
I don't know. Oh, yes, that is new.
to the display. Okay,
Do
good.
you use
so they
that?
added something. So I just started using it, and at first I just left my daughter because it shows. So what you do is you say, "Hey, geez, create a family note," and it's like, "What do you want this note to say?" And I started out with just silly notes like, "I love you, kid," and all these, right? But now they display on all the displays around your house,
Yeah.
on top of the photos.
Yeah, it's like a
And
Post-it
I do
note.
things like so. My daughter, when she's downstairs, I'll leave a note and I'll be like, "Bring up your laundry." And then she'll see it and she'll bring up the laundry. And it's nice because I know it's a less obtrusive way to talk to her when she's not in upstairs with me, but I'm not interrupting her school. So we're using it a lot, actually.
They got this November 18th, so it's new enough.
Oh.
I don't know if we talked about it. So you can leave a note for somebody, right? Can you put their name in it?
And you say, Andrew, do this, or
Okay.
so-and-so do this.
And then it'll say who it's
But
from.
you also have to make sure you say family note, because if you just say note, I don't know where it goes, but it doesn't.
It goes
sit
into
on
your note. Yeah, you probably your
screen.
Google Notes.
Yeah, it goes somewhere else,
Yes.
never to be seen again.
So good. There you go. That's a guest appearance by Stacey Higginbotham in the Google changelog. Congratulations, Stacey. Jeff,
The democracy known as the Google
I
change.
already moved. I did half the change log. I put half the change log in there.
Thank
I
you,
moved something
Jeff.
else in there. So just take that.
Take that. Google Photos is rolling out a series of updates to its Memories feature. That's the thing that we were talking about. That surfaces your photos from the good old days. Memories will be expanded to include 3D cinematic photos, updated collage designs, and new types of memories, which may include the most important people in your life or your favorite things like sunsets, activities like baking or hiking, whatever seems to matter to you based on what they can determine from the photos that you upload. You can hide specific people, Jeff, or time periods if there are parts of your photo history you don't want to ever see.
So you're saying you're
again.
going to hide me from your memories? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Here? Huh?
That's actually nice.
No,
If
you
you're,
should be
like,
able to
getting
do
over
that.
An X.
Yeah, you don't want to have
And
that
also,
X
Google's going to think I love receipts
Yeah,
or gadgets. It's going to be like,
Whiteboards.
remember that Amazon Halo you
It was a
unboxed?
great receipt from the old days. Cinematic.
I get a lot of those. Remember that meal you ate? Here's the receipt for it.
Oh, cinematic is neat. So
that?
it uses machine learning. This is more machine learning to create a 3D representation. So on the left is a picture of a young girl in the fall leaves, and the cinematic is on the right. It created. Look, she's moving closer to you. It's almost like the Ken Burns effect.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Well, Google did that. Like, it turned, like, if you took a couple photos, it would turn them into a GIF.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
have these, like,
I never liked that.
weird Giphy things.
Yeah, they're weird. Yeah, occasionally it worked really
Plus,
well.
I would try to bracket a shot, and it would think that
Now
this
it's
was
a
some
GIF.
action shot.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah.
Yeah. And then here's
I don't want to
an-
screw this up.
Here's an example of what a
Yeah.
collage would look like. So it's a number of photos, kind of like it would be in a
collage?
scrapbook.
Is it do you say it collage? I always thought it was collage.
It's collage.
Oh, okay, good.
We're Southerners, Stacey, so it's collage.
What?
Like, how do you say pecan?
Pecan. Obviously.
Goodbye.
We've already discussed that.
Okay, Google.
But is it really collage or is it collage?
How do you say collage? Collage. She just said that's pronounced collage.
Ask
Yeah.
her how she
Google
says
says it.
collage.
Collage. Collage.
So the emphasis is on the second one?
Yes.
Yes. It's not a cooperative lodge. It's not a collage.
Collage.
Collage. She seems so unhappy.
She's British. We don't speak that English.
We don't. This is that.
Well, I don't say it like that either.
Well, I know, but I was trying to help you. I wasn't trying. I can never
Well, wait a
pronounce
minute.
words.
Collage.
Okay, so
See?
it's the emphasis
American
is in the second
Second syllable.
syllable.
Yes.
I've been saying it wrong my whole life.
Back to the.
I have to rethink everything.
Back to the changelog.
Back to Google Photos. I know they added these features in, but I wish it gave you a better search for going through those highlights of memories, because if you go into the app and you just sort of swipe through, it's pretty limited. I don't see any of the things that it showed me a couple of weeks ago, but I wish I could just sort of pinpoint and say, hey, I want to look at a memory that you suggested to me from November 2020, something like that. I don't
Collage.
see that.
Okay, I'm still trying to find somebody who says it how I do. Nobody
You're not
get
going to
it.
find it. And if you do, they're wrong.
Apparently,
There's the lodge and there's the collage.
collage.
It does it together with the lodge.
College, collage. So it's like college, sort of. College with an
it's
age.
No, it's not like college. It's just collage.
No, it's not like college at all.
Well, college is the emphasis is on the second.
Just
No, it's not.
Collage.
College.
College. Oh yeah, you're right. College.
Right. So no, see, you're wrong every
Collage.
possible way.
Is
And
it
no,
'cause it's
Facebook
French?
is not ruining the world.
Is it French? Is that why? Because
Yes,
it's
think of
French?
it as French. It is French.
Collage. Collage.
There you go.
Well, then it has
Simple.
no.
Now he's got it.
Collage.
Bless his heart.
Google has purchased Neverware, which really surprises me. Neverware was a very ingenious company that was putting Chrome OS on unapproved old PCs. They've been doing this for 5 years with their cloud-ready software. Schools, businesses, people with old laptops. It was really cool. It was never approved by the Chrome OS project.
And I
the
never
Chromium
understood
OS
why Google
project.
wouldn't do this. It was an obvious thing to do.
Well, guess what? Cloud Ready will now be an official Chrome OS release. So this is really good news. It means Google is going to allow people, because there have been limitations. You couldn't do the Android apps with Cloud Ready and so forth. So this is fantastic. It means
And I
a
just
lot.
tricked you.
So this won't come
That was
back
on
to
line
bite them
17, and I
in
moved it
some
down to
FTC
line
filing.
122.
Thank
10
you
years
for
from now.
moving it. I'm not paying any attention to the line numbers now. Sorry, Ann.
Sorry, Ed.
The feud goes on. It's the Hatfields and McCoys.
No, I was saying, do you think this would be something that turns around and bites them, 5-10 years from now?
No,
the
this is
same
good.
way it's happening with Facebook because they acquired another company.
Oh, no. This is. I don't think Neverware ever competed or was ever slated to compete against Chrome OS or Google.
Yeah, and you're going to get
Tongue-in-cheek.
rid of your $5,000 Mac and now put
Tongue-in-cheek.
Neverware on it. Yeah, no,
This is actually great news. I'm very pleased.
How
about
much
this.
did Neverware cost?
How much did they buy it for? They didn't say.
No.
Oh, it was
Never-
kind
you
of
have to buy
free.
the
I don't
Neverware.
remember what the. I mean, you could download it and install it for free. I guess
Free,
there were
okay.
some situations. There was a home edition, and maybe if you were a school and you were putting it on a lot of them or something, that there were some. Yeah, because it says requested trial. So I guess they were charging. But I used it, and actually I found it to be not always working. So it's free for your home use for tinkerers, parents, students, other humans ready for a better OS. This is on the Cloud Ready webpage. $20 per device for education annually. Enterprise.
I see. Okay.
But I bet you Google, that's just gives
They'll
it
get
away.
rid of that now.
Yeah, they're not going to charge for this. Yeah.
So the reason I asked that was, so you're trying to think if there's an antitrust evidence. I mean, you could argue if it's Facebook, oh my God, they bought another company to put it out of business. If it's Google, snuffle up against Google, I don't know. It's interesting because are they trying to dump on the market? I guess is the only way I would see it.
No, I don't think. I think this is not
All right.
a candidate for.
You're letting them off the hook.
I don't think, but who knows? Who knows? The Google Designs Best of 2020 is out. You want to see some of those?
Sure.
Designs of what?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of designs?
Best cameo appearance.
He's listening to Scooter X.
I am. Best. It's a pretty page, though. Look at that. Best of 2020. A look back at the year's most resilient design projects.
What does that mean?
Experiences that bring the world closer to you.
Those that COVID did not squash.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Google Arts and Culture team bringing a museum to you. I don't know. This is a nice page. Yeah, the Blob Opera was Arts and Culture.
Yes.
Here's the Soli Sandbox. Boy, that never went anywhere from ATAP. Here's Pixel Essential Apps and Google Creative Lab. Oh, this was very cool. The ability to edit audio clips in the Recorder app by selecting a text. This became Descript, of course, which is widely used now by podcasters to do something similar. Acidifying Oceans. This is also Google. So these are all within Google timelines. These are just pretty things, nice things. Pixel 5G. They gave themselves an award. That's nice.
It's like Trump giving himself an award for the best economy.
How do you like that? That's a font called Francis. Or maybe it's Francis. I don't know.
In Texas, it's Francis.
Francis. Really, with a U even? Francis. Edward Muybridge
Well, it's certainly
animation
not
as a
Francis.
variable font. Wow, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, that's that. Moving on, back to the changelog. That was the Scooter X changelog. You're right. You're exactly right. Scooter X is very good at...
Scooter X does. I like his alternative change.
I love the
Not gonna
Scooter
lie.
X alternative changelog. I agree, 100%. Chromecast is getting an Apple TV app, which is just bizarre. Apple has slowly put Apple TV on TVs, on other people's devices. It was for a long time an exclusive on Apple's own TV, but I guess because they have Apple TV Plus, they want people to subscribe to it. So coming in early 2021, if you have a Chromecast, the latest Chromecast with Google TV, there will be an Apple TV app. I have to say my experience has been that the Apple TV app is not quite as good as Apple TV on an Apple TV, which would kind of make sense.
Have you used that Chromecast?
Yes, I love it. You know, the only thing that's really now it's a frustration to me is I can't play Stadia games on it for some reason. You have to have a Chromecast Ultra for that. So I'm replacing it with a Chromecast Ultra only because I want to play the game on my TV. Google is cutting prices on Google One storage.
Just the highest tiers.
Just
But
the
it's
most
50%.
Yeah, it's a big cut, and it's really kind of due. So I don't know if you get the 10 terabyte tier. I didn't even know if there was a 10 terabyte.
I think I get
tier.
the 2 terabyte.
That's down from $99 a month to $50 a month.
Mon Dieu. God,
Mon
that's
Dieu.
a lot.
That's pronounced Mon Dieu.
No. That's not the 2 terabyte. No,
It's 10 terabytes.
10 terabytes.
20
No,
terabytes is down from $200 to $100. 30 terabytes from $300 to $150. So those are all cut in half.
Wait,
That's a
why,
lot of
Why?
storage.
Why do you need that
For a
much
business.
storage?
For business. For business.
Business.
For
Or
business.
and photos.
Business?
Business.
I was like, I have a business, and I do not have that much storage.
But you don't have
Okay.
employees. If you had a lot of employees all with Google
I have
accounts.
employees.
You do?
I have
You do?
one.
Your husband?
Husband is my other employee,
Your
and
husband?
then Kevin is a contract worker.
I bet your husband considers you his employee. Have you?
Nonsense. He would never.
He's too smart for that.
He is a smart man who is very adept at living with me.
Yes, boss, he says.
Yeah, I say yes, boss, to Lisa too.
Yeah.
But if you had like a lot of enterprises use, actually though,
You're
come to
right.
think of it, if you use Workspace, I think you get a terabyte per employee anyway. So
You do.
I don't know.
I get lots of.
Yeah,
I
there's a
get
ton of
lots
storage. So I don't-
storage.
I don't know what this is for. For people using the big 10 terabyte, maybe it's for photographers.
Well, I had to go up to the 2 terabyte.
I use 2 as
Okay.
well. 2 is a good amount.
Yeah. I
2's
use
2.
I'm still on the
Does my
free tier,
mail
and I
forever?
haven't cracked it.
That's only 15
Wow,
gigs.
Really?
I don't.
You
I
don't store
keep
stuff in the cloud. Yeah.
You probably clean things up. I
do,
went the
even-
Google way and said I'll just search everything in my life. It's easy and it's much better.
That's just sloppy. It's just sloppy.
The other day,
Oh, boy.
I've never done this, and I don't know why I've never done this, but I have, as we were talking about the Nest Hub Max, which has a camera. And the other day, I did a meeting in it. It was great. In fact,
What did you use? Software.
Meet with
Meet,
Google
okay.
Meet.
Oh,
it
you can
follows
actually
you
get
around.
Zoom.
Well, now that's the
Yeah.
story.
It does.
I was leading up to that.
So, I'm sorry.
You-
I just stomped on your
ruined.
segue.
Yeah, you sure did, Stacey. Jeez.
It's not that I've ever done that, of course. So that's good. No, you can now do Zoom calls on your Nest Hub Max as well as Google Meet and Duo. Actually, I think I did Duo. But you know, it's good because the camera follows you around. It's a little. I was doing it with my daughter. She said, "That's creepy. Stop it." Because I was going like this, and the camera would move over.
So I am really excited. I'll be honest.
It's surveilling you.
For Google to, with their next generation like displays, to do what Amazon has done
With
by
Portal.
mimicking the portal.
Yeah.
So Amazon now has it on their displays where it physically moves around,
Yep.
which will be key. And then when Google can do it, then
Google does do it. I was just
they
saying.
don't physically move the display. They just move they move the camera, but they can't rotate the display to follow you as you like
The
literally
portal
walk around.
rotates.
The portal, I believe, rotates.
No.
Well, Amazon's rotates.
Amazon's
Amazon-
might. I had the original portal. It didn't go anywhere. It just.
Oh, well, Google's displays have followed you for a while because I was in my old house and it would follow me around when
Yeah.
I was talking to people.
Yeah, I was really
So that's not
surprised. I
new.
didn't know that. No, I wasn't saying it was
Oh.
new. I was saying it was new to me.
Oh,
Zoom
okay.
is new.
It's like Family Notes.
Yeah, it's like Family Notes. And by the way, they are going to upgrade the Google or Nest Wi-Fi system for video calling. So they're going to
Yeah, so
automatic.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Explain that to me, boss.
It's QoS, quality of service. A lot of routers you can do this manually, where you say, look, if I'm, this IP address, I want this to get improved service because I'm streaming or whatever. The device will detect video call traffic for either Meet or Zoom, and it should prioritize it and say, no, we
No,
got
I
to
want
get those
network
packets.
neutrality in my router.
No, well, Zoom is
demand
not a
it.
Google product, so maybe you know what? That may be why they're doing it. That may be why they're doing
This
it.
is good because normals aren't doing QoS settings. They're just not.
Well, because
So
it's
this is
hard.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're doing. So as you said, I'm very sad, and I think we're going to add this to the Google graveyard, the $400, 12-pound giant speaker in the Google family, the Home Max. It sounded good. I think it was as good as, the HomePod, any other high-quality digital speaker. I really like it. I listened to it this morning. I listen to it all the time. But I think $400
So-
is probably too much.
And I saw $400 is a lot. And last week, you gasped on Twitter at the new Apple headphones.
$550.
$549.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's but the thing is, they're going to still sell a ton of those because the people in that Apple market are used to that type of pricing. It is
It
what
is a little weird that Google now, the best speaker Google offers is just the little $100 Nest Audio
that's kinda
lozenge.
what So we actually talked about this a while back, Kevin and I, just because I was in this market I have a huge room. It's like by 20 by 20. It's everything upstairs, basically. And we were trying to figure out what I needed to fill that space adequately. And really the only option was either Sonos, tied to something like the big Sonoses, or, go for actual real speakers.
That's what
and
I
then
would do.
just
Yeah.
I went with 2 Nest Audios, and they sound really, really good.
Because you compare them for stereo sound, they're only $200 with $100 each, and you think that's a good sound.
It doesn't fill the whole room.
No, but it's okay.
But it sounds really good,
Right.
and it's better than the Echoes, which were too bassy for me.
Yeah.
And I even like it. The HomePods. I had 2 of the HomePod Minis. Sorry, 2 HomePod Minis.
The $100
there.
ones?
Yeah, and so of all the $99 speakers as a pair, the Nest Audio were my
Interesting. You
favorites
prefer those to all the others. Oh, look, what's that?
Oh, what's Mr. Ant got?
Braven Mini.
It's a beer
I
can
believe
speaker.
You can get these for $20 now.
Looks like one of those 100-calorie Coke cans. The middle mini Coke
Yeah,
cans.
pretty close to that.
Yeah.
You can get a pair of these, and they'll do stereo. I
They
have
sound good?
2 of them, and I stick them in a room, and it fills up the room.
Nice.
Especially if you put them in a corner where
Right.
you get the reverb. So, yeah, $20.
I'm going the other direction. I ended up went out and bought fancy ELAC speakers and upgraded my audio everywhere. I just decided if I'm going to be stuck at home, I'm not compromising. Although the Max is the Max is in the bathroom now. And that's fine for the bathroom.
Yeah.
But I have nicer
That huge
speakers.
thing in a bathroom?
I got a big bathroom.
Good Lord.
And a lot of leather-bound books.
Yeah, I got a bookshelf in there.
Smells of mahogany.
70-inch TV, you know. No, the
Recliner
bathroom
toilet.
The bathroom has 2 sinks, and in the middle it's a lower thing, which I think is supposed to be like a vanity that you would sit at, but nobody uses
Yes.
that, so it's perfect for the Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only in your house.
I know.
I used to have a speaker in the bathroom.
I
did
still
it because
do.
No, it's
Yeah,
great
my
because I
bathroom
listen
now
to
is really
podcasts
small.
or music. You know, if I'm going to work and I want to get up, have them play a little Bruce Springsteen and get in the mood and stuff like that. I find that very handy. It doesn't
I
need to
have
be a
one in my
great
shower.
speaker. Yeah, it's not in the shower, so it doesn't have to be waterproof. But so it gets a little. It's not as loud when I'm in the shower, but it's okay. It gets me up. It's good. And I listened this morning. I listened to podcasts on it. It's a good way to start.
He's in the shower screaming, Bruce.
Bruce. I'm telling you, the Wild.
Anything else in the changelog, y'all?
Yeah, I'm going
y'all,
on. The
let's move.
Wild and the Innocent and the E Street Shuffle, greatest album ever made. Well, the first 3 songs anyway. That's it. That's
That's all you're doing? You're not going to do the new Pixel feature drop?
Oh yeah. I missed that one. You're right. There's a new. I got it right here. The new Pixel feature drop.
Yeah.
It adds more battery optimizations, adaptive sound, and yes, you don't have to have a Pixel 5. You can have a 4A 5G or a 4A. The Pixel 3 or newer, so this 4XL will also get it. You're going to get Hold For Me, the one where you put it on hold and then the assistant says, hey, they're on now, come on back, which I think is great. Extreme battery saver mode, screen sharing on duo calls. Let's see what else. So this is one thing Google really, I think, does right. I guess, because it makes you feel like, well, why didn't they give it to me in the first place? But at least over time, even with an older Google Pixel, you're getting new features, better stuff, which is pretty cool. And I did got that and the December security update at the same time. So I think there's a good reason to have a Pixel phone if you're going to use Android, I think. There's new suggestions in Google Photos, including dynamic, which enhances brightness, contrast, and color. And that's cool. And a set of sky suggestions, which help you create stunning sunsets, even if it wasn't so stunning.
AI.
Adaptive sound is an interesting idea. It uses the microphone on the phone to adapt the sound quality from the phone speaker, which is terrible. I've seen things do this. In fact, all those digital speakers we talked about, in theory, use the microphone to adjust the acoustics. The problem is the speaker in a Pixel is not the greatest in the world. Google says
it's not the greatest on most phones, though,
right?
Quite honestly,
no, it isn't. So I don't. How much can you optimize it? But it equalizes the sound based on your settings. And Google is quick to tell you that all microphone audio is deleted shortly after it's recorded. It's processed locally, never leaves your device. And audio and background conversations are never sent to Google. I guess I got to say that. You can change the grid size. Wow. This is, I use a customized launcher, a third-party launcher to do this, but you now can use the Pixel launcher to customize the grid size of your icons. There is a feature I wish they would add because this is one of the reasons I use a third-party launcher, the Action launcher. I like to get rid of, I know that's the phone. I don't need a text underneath the icon to tell me that's the phone or the Play Store or Google Chrome. I wish I could get rid of all of those. But no, you can't do that, but you can at least squish them in tight together. So that's all in the new drop. If you don't update your Pixel regularly, you should. And that is the Google changelog. Your picks of the week. We will wrap this puppy up with a bow in just a little bit. But first, you want to do it again? Really? One more time?
It's just like us doing the Facebook is evil story over and over and over again. So you might as well do the changelog a few times, What's the difference?
Why not?
So if you want me to never again mention Facebook on this show?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, God, please. I would love it.
Okay. It's a democracy all of a sudden.
Democracy. I thought now it's a democracy.
Or
Stacey says
Facebook.
it's a democracy.
I will not bring it up ever again.
I criticized Facebook today. I'll criticize Facebook. Just
honestly,
the Zoom thing got me going.
Because I don't
we're talking about Facebook.
Because I don't have Facebook, it's not on my radar. I bring these up just to annoy Jeff. I don't really care.
That's true. That's what he does.
I don't care. I don't have it.
Every effing time.
It's still topical, though.
It's topical schmopical. Our show today brought to you by Command Line Heroes. This is an interesting debate. We're going to get back to this. Command Line Heroes is a podcast. Oh, I love this. Another great podcast with Saran, who is really inspiring. She's an amazing host. But she brings together developers and programmers and hackers and geeks and open source rebels. Past seasons have brought some of the most interesting people on, including, guys and gals who are my heroes. The leaders of the geek revolution. She's up to season 6 now, which is the whole season is dedicated to the stories of black technologists who innovated and invented despite systemic racism and unfair hiring practices, unequal education opportunities. Some of the people you'll meet, Gladys West. You see, this is the problem. You don't know her name, but her mathematical models and data analysis paved the way for GPS. Jerry Lawson invented the first cartridge-based video game console before there was an Atari, a Nintendo, or Sega. And then there's Mark Dean. He was raised in the Jim Crow South, grew up to revolutionize the PC industry, inventor of the ISA bus. You're going to really enjoy this. And these are people who their recognition is long overdue. So it's really great. Saran does a wonderful job. Go and search for Command Line Heroes in your podcast app and subscribe to it. Command Line Heroes. And this is a very important season, I think, and Saran did a really good job with it. Download it today. Our thanks to Command Line Heroes. Command Line Heroes, download it today. Our thanks to Command Line Heroes for their support. We are wrapping this show up with our picks of the week. And as always, I'd like to begin with Stacey Higginbotham.
Okay, so I am going to do an update because people asked me, and I'm a little late. I was going to do it last week, but I wasn't here. Last year at Christmas, I told y'all about my twinkly lights. They were expensive.
John, do you have the video of your twinkly lights at work? John has put them on his house.
Yeah,
he loves them.
I had no idea about those, and he showed them to me.
So I feel terrible because I should have told you the update. Actually, honestly, Thanksgiving. I'm a bad person. But this year I added, and it's super expensive right now, so don't buy it this year, but put it on your list for next year. Like, set a reminder. The Spritzer.
The Spritzer?
And you're like,
what does that do?
What the heck is the Spritzer, Stacey?
Well, wait a minute now.
Just close the window. Hold on.
Because I searched for it, and I don't think you're going to talk about what I just found. So you better tell us.
No. I already know that it's not what you found. Let me just...
Not Google it. What is the Spritzer?
I don't know, Leo. I just Googled it and it's fine. But here, let me drop it in this.
I'm getting specially coded results just for me.
It's a spritz of.
It's not
lights,
from
so
Queen
it's like
V.
Strings.
Oh, the Spritzer lights. Okay.
Twinkly.
Three-dimensional
There it is.
lights.
It is from Twinkly. And so I am using this. I didn't pull it out into a circle kind of formation. I just pulled it out a little bit, and now it's a star on my tree.
All right.
Which is
Get ready.
amazing.
Here comes a video of the Spritzer from Holodynamics, which is one of the companies that sells it. But you say this is a Twinkly Lights thing.
It is made by
this it?
Twinklies.
Is this it?
That is it. That's
okay.
it. So he has it all into the ball shape, but you can actually do it more in a fan shape, which makes it better. You could actually use it like that as a tree topper too. And it comes in, I think, 200 and 120. And y'all, just these lights, this is my second year with them. I had them outside for like 6 months. I brought them inside for my Christmas tree.
So these
this
are
year.
also like Spritzer. These are app controlled.
These are app control. They have mapping capabilities.
What
the
mapping?
light strands. So the light strands you can put on your house, on your tree, wherever.
John used them to do the Twit logo on his house. You want to see?
Yes.
It's sort of the Twit logo, but there it is.
Yeah.
Those are
I like it.
Twinklies. Yeah. And is that a Spritzer on the Twit logo,
That is so
John?
cool.
No, that's not the Spritzer.
Is that the icicles?
That's next year is icicles. John's all in. So the Twinkly Spritzer.
So I'm just going to say the Twinkly lights so far still going strong, still loving them. The app is great. People complain a little bit about the mapping, which can be a little iffy. And you have to, the one thing I will say is every time you get a new tree, you have to you have to reset the lights, because if you get a real tree, you're going to set it up in a different configuration.
Oh, yeah. You can't get the lights
But
where
if
they
you're
were
like-
last year. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you have like a curtain they have curtains like what you're seeing there, you could just set it once and let it do
Yeah,
whatever
John's curtains
forever.
will always look that way. Yeah.
They don't have to, though. You can download new patterns
Wow.
and just apply them with the flip of a button. I love these things. I love them so much. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you about them earlier so you could buy them.
It's too late. We already decorated my tree. Look at this. This is cool. So you can actually kind of like paint your tree with the app. So the lights are on the tree, and now he's in the app. He's painting by dragging his finger on to light up the lights. This is so cool.
That's crazy.
That is.
And if you're like I will say, if you are like a completist OCD person, these will drive you nuts, because when you're painting,
They're never
you may
perfect.
not get every single light bulb.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, I want that one.
Right.
And that's going to drive you nuts. But
Right.
I love these. They're pricey, but so good.
You know, it's funny because I couldn't remember who recommended them. Pretty much every one of our hosts seems to be using them now. It was so Lori Gill has them. Andy Anako has them. Was Lori the first to mention Twinkly? Okay, so we'll give Lori credit, but Stacey's also been flogging the Twinklies, and
I'm not flogging the Twinklies. I bought them last year because I will say for the last 8 years, ever since I got into IoT, I have tried many versions
you have
of
to do all of
connected
that.
lights.
Yeah.
And those were the first ones that I was like, you do everything I need. You do it in a way that's easy and consistent, because a lot of them not consistent. And the nice thing is now, and probably in the next year or so, you're going to see the Twinklies, and those probably should be fine.
Would they be bright enough, John? Do you have them like behind me in the studio, or they would be? They're pretty bright. Okay.
They're crazy
So
bright.
we should get
They
some
are so
Twinklies.
bright.
Can you go to the Home Depot and get them, or do you have to get? You can. Okay. So I might run and get some so that we can have it for our. Because Jeff,
You're just trying for a 10, aren't you?
Jeff, you're going to be on the OG Twit on Sunday with
Old guy Twit.
Old guy, no, original gangster Twit.
No, old guy Twit.
Old guy Twit with Steve Gibson and Paul Thurrott and me, and it's going to be a really fun. It's our holiday special, and I should have some Twinklies, I think, to really dress it up.
Everyone
Okay,
should
you're
have
just trying for that
Twinklies.
10 out of 10. I know what you're doing.
10 out of
You're
10.
trying for Room Raider. Yeah.
I can't believe he only gave me 8. I'm just bummed.
It was all for effort too.
It was 8 for
one of those things
effort.
Where you really don't do well in class, But you get an A for effort.
Yeah, because he showed up. That's pretty much why.
Technically,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
what it
your home, though, Leo. It's a studio.
It is.
that's
So
a
it's not
little
fair.
different.
I shouldn't really even be in the competition.
Yeah.
We have.
Actually, the fact that you got an 8 is really shameful.
I know, given this is a professional
all that
broadcast
considered,
studio.
I was like, wait a second.
But he didn't see all the things. Okay. Jeff, your number of the week.
So MacKenzie Scott, who received
Used to be
$38
MacKenzie
billion.
Bezos. You might know her under
Right.
that name.
I don't want to use her dead name, but
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, that's not a dead
Just-
name. Bad Jeff.
It's not.
What is
oh,
it?
It's not okay.
It's her former name.
But she chose to change the name.
Yeah, yeah. She didn't want to be a Bezos.
MacKenzie Scott
Yeah.
just gave away $4.2 billion
Wow.
to 384 organizations across the U.S. in the past 4 months. Including, I'm delighted to say, not to my college, not to my school particularly, but to CUNY, my university, $60 million.
What?
One of the
Good for
largest
her.
Whoa.
guests we've ever gotten for Manhattan Community College and Lehman
That's so
College.
great.
Which
She
serve
gave Prairie
poor
View-
people in New York.
Yeah, she gave Prairie View A&M, which is I don't know if it's a formerly historically black college, but that is, I think it might be.
Yep.
She gave them $50 million to pay for students' tuition bills
Nice.
for like during this time when a lot of kids who have to also work and do things to make their, So I was like, I saw that and I was like, yes.
It's actually interesting because she, in her divorce settlement, she got $38 billion. But
Which
like
since then
so
is-
many billionaires, COVID has been very, very good to her. She made an additional $23.6 billion this year alone. So good for MacKenzie Scott giving away so much of that money. She plans, of course, to give back much of her wealth.
It was. So she says on the Medium post where she announced it, the team sought suggestions and perspective from hundreds of field experts, funders, nonprofit leaders, volunteers, leveraged this knowledge with collaboration with hundreds of emails and phone interviews.
That's
They
the
looked
hardest
at
thing is you might have the money, but it's hard to know where to give it.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Philanthropy is hard. They looked at 6,490 organizations, undertook deeper research into 822, and then they put these 438 out there for evidence of impact, unproven management team. Oh, I'm sorry. They put 438 on hold while I think they could do better. But it's research driven and rigorous, but that gives them the opportunity to be human and soft, she says.
Well, there was
Good for her.
this pandemic was a windfall. You know, as much as it hurt the lower 90%, the upper 1%, and especially the upper 0.1%, it was a huge boon to them. And they should feel guilty and they should give it to charity, at least some of it. They should give back what the windfall profits from the pandemic, I think. And good for her. She's doing it. And I think now the onus is on the rest of them. We should do the MacKenzie Scott Ice Bucket Challenge. She should say, okay, now I challenge you, Jeff, to give $40 billion away. Good luck.
Yeah.
Nice number. Aunt Pruitt, pick of the week.
$4 billion.
$4 billion.
No, it's 40. $4 billion. Yeah, not 40.
No,
My,
but Jeff should give 10 times more away because he's Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Right. Yes.
He can. My pick, I have two. First one is going to be this interesting, inexpensive camera gimbal. People watched our awesome hands-on tech where I did the review of the Van Move e-bike.
Yeah. Oh, is this how
And
you
I got
shot
a lot of comments
Oh.
about the B-roll.
Yeah.
And I said, well, yeah, I used a gimbal, and it was this gimbal here that I was trying out. And it's inexpensive. It's about $100 cheaper than the DJI model that's comparable to this one. It doesn't require an app to be used. You can just balance your device on there and get the shooting.
That's the hardest thing with a gimbal. I often spend more time balancing than shooting.
Well, this one has a couple locks on it to make balancing it a little bit easier.
Good.
They tout having more payload capacity, including the massive 24-105 lens from Canon.
Wow.
I'm going to call a little bit of a fudge on that one, but it does seem it still works pretty well. Like I said, I shot that footage for the Hands on Tech series, and
Are you going
it
to
came
review
out
this
pretty
for Hands on
smooth.
Tech?
Pardon?
You're going to review this for Hands on Tech?
I would like to.
Feiyu, Feiyu Tech, the AK2000C.
AK2000C.
Nice.
Inexpensive gimbal for filmmakers.
$229.
And my other pick is I did a little bit of writing recently, and I would appreciate it if folks go and check it out. It's over on the Scott Kelby blog, Kelby One blog.
Oh, Scott's
and
an
I
old
just
friend.
shared
That's
my
great.
thoughts on people being in a bit of a creative rut, especially right now because things are locking down yet again, and you tend to run out of ideas. And I tell you, shut up, just get up and grab your camera and start shooting.
Get out of the rut. Good. It's really good. Discomfort breeds creativity. Just go do it. Very nice. ScottKelby.com, guest blog by our very own Aunt Pruitt. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to say goodbye to all the family and Jeff.
I just caught that.
No, actually, Jeff's going to be back.
Scrooge.
He's going to be back on Sunday for our old guy twit. But we will not be back next Wednesday. It'll be the best of highlights. It's really interesting to watch these best ofs.
Poor guys have to edit our Facebook discussion today into that show at the last
No,
minute.
that's
I feel
not a
very
best
sorry
of
for
by
them.
any means.
No, don't let anyone hear that again.
But I have to say it's funny because this has been a long year. The year begins on the best ofs with CES, pre-pandemic.
Oh, what a change.
And that seems like 100 years ago now.
Does it ever?
Yeah. So so the best ofs are interesting on all the shows this year because of that suddenly around March everything changes and the whole idea changes and we look kind of like a little sad, but we've
does our hair get longer? Because I've got
hair gets longer.
I can pull my hair back into a ponytail
shaggier.
now. I mean,
yeah, it's interesting to watch these. So that will be next Wednesday, the 23rd.
Sorry, Aunt.
But we will be back, and I want to invite you all to join us not only this Sunday on the 20th for the OG Twit, but 2 weeks from today, which is the 30th, because that'll be our look back at the year, but also maybe more importantly, a look ahead to 2021. And I hope you will all join me, Aunt Pruitt, from Hands On Photography, Hands On Wellness, Jeff Jarvis.
Yay, Aunt. It's okay. It's okay. You don't need to.
It's okay. I'll read it. The director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism. What could you say? Former TV guide critic at the City University of New York. No, you know what? I'm proud of the fact that we have a prestigious guy like you on the show. So we gotta sell that. Buzzmachine.com is his blog. Stacey is at StaceyOnIoT.com. There's a great newsletter there. You must subscribe. You should also look at the events because she's always throwing interesting events that are free to join and you can learn a lot from. And
virtual parties.
Virtual parties.
And follow her fleets on Twitter.
Are you fleeting?
That's all. I'm fleeting my dog. Right now I don't have any fleets because my dog is just sleeping on the carpet next to me. But
I got a fleet.
It's cute.
You got to get on Twitter.
You do got a fleet, but you got to find something fleet worthy.
Yeah, that's my problem. I look at it and I go, that's not fleet worthy. So I go back to playing Animal Crossing and just shut up.
It appears in 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
The bar is low.
The bar is low, but it isn't really, is it? People put good stuff up there. That's the problem. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Ant. Thank you all for joining us. This Week in Google is a Wednesday afternoon show for us about 2 o'clock Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2200 UTC. You can watch us do it live before we cut out all the swearing and the fist fights and all that stuff. The live stream is at twit.tv/live, audio or video. If you're doing that, though, if you're doing the live, you really should be in the chat room, irc.twit.tv. Lots of people in there watching live as well. On demand, everything we do is available at twit.tv. This show is twit.tv/twig. You can download it there. There's a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch all the shows there. Every show we do has a YouTube channel as well. Best thing, I think, though, is get your favorite podcast app and subscribe. That way you'll get it automatically the minute it's available. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Sorry about the music last week. Sorry about the fisticuffs this week. I promise no Facebook stories in 2021. We're just going to pretend it doesn't exist, which, frankly, I think will be good for everybody. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hi, I'm Jason Howell, host of All About Android. Each week, I'm joined by my co-hosts Ron Richards and Florence Ion, as well as a whole rotating cast of guests, journalists in the Android space, experts, developers, and even people working on Android behind the scenes at Google. We talk about everything that has to do with Android, and you don't want to miss a single episode so you know what's going on behind the scenes. That's twit.tv/AAA. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode.